It's Flavor Fix Day with Samantha Starr. We're back. We took a break for MLK Day, and I'm so excited to be back here with my friends. I'm going to take a second and let them introduce themselves. I have a great lineup today. I'm gonna have Chef Jason Austin kick us off.
How's it going, everybody? Chef Jason. I own Heaven's Table Barbecue, and I also am an instructor at MATC, and I have a nonprofit, Chosen Generation.
Hi, everybody. I'm Anne-Marie Arroyo, and I'm the owner of Moxie Food and Drink in Whitefish Bay. Just celebrated our 7th anniversary, and really happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Sierra Chesser, attorney turned travel agent, content creator, foodie, all that good stuff.
Thank you all so much for joining us. And if you don't know, aren't familiar with Flavor Fix, if this is your first show, we are talking all things food, culinary, travel adventures. We have exciting conversations today. So I'm glad that I have these awesome people with me. This is also a special show because we're celebrating my birthday. I turned 37 yesterday, and I feel good, and I'm delighted to celebrate with you all. And so throughout the evening, we'll actually have some folks popping in and just sending some birthday wishes to me and sharing whatever they want to share quickly on air. So they'll be rotating in throughout the night. As I said, we're going to talk tasting Milwaukee, culinary trends, kitchen secrets, and more. And so I want to shift right into it to give our speakers a chance to give a more of an introduction about themselves, their backgrounds, what inspired them, what restaurants they own, and all those moving parts. And I'm going to invite Anne-Marie. You want to kick us off?
I sure will.
Okay. Go ahead and kick us off. Tell us where you began, what your vision was for Moxie and how it came about, and a little bit about your journey.
Sure. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely.
Really honored to be here on your birthday show. So happy birthday.
They got me all decked up.
With the sash. Moxie came about because my wife and I, our jobs were eliminated at Harley Davidson in 2015. And we took a couple weeks to think about what we were going to do next. We have 2 boys. And at the time, they were 9 and 12. We thought we have to move fast and figure this out. So we decided we wanted to open a business, but we wanted to fulfill a need in our neighborhood. And we decided that in Whitefish Bay, we needed more restaurants. And I have a long history in restaurants. Growing up, I read Dennis Ghetto's reviews. Do you guys remember Dennis Ghetto? He was a food critic in Milwaukee, and he would write for the Journal Sentinel. So I'm dating myself a little, but I'm 55 now. So this was when I was like 8 years old. And I used to really look forward to those Sundays where I could spread open the Sunday paper and read the funnies. But also I always read his reviews and was so interested in his Milwaukee journey in the culinary scene.
Right.
And so that was my earliest experience. But then when I was 15, I started in a little restaurant that was a pancake house, and I started hosting and then serving.
Where was that at?
It was in Wauwatosa, where Bartolotta's is right now, on State Street.
Okay.
It was called Peter Piper's Pancake House.
Peter Piper's Pancake House.
Yeah, that's where I got my start.
Are you familiar with that?
It is a mouthful, and they had great pancakes. Yeah. So that's where I got my first taste of what it's like to work in a restaurant, and I loved it. And then from there, I just moved throughout the Milwaukee restaurant scene, doing everything from hosting, serving, cooking, cleaning bathrooms. I mean, you name it, I was doing it. But I never owned my own restaurant. And so when the opportunity came where we were deciding what to do with our lives and reinventing ourselves from motorcycles to doing restaurant work.
That's a big change.
It's a big change. Yeah. It allowed us more time to ride motorcycles, that's for sure. But I knew that all of the business skills that we had were transferable to whatever we decided to do, restaurants included. So that's where we got that idea. And we opened Moxie in December of 2016 with Chef Tony Evans, who's passed away since since then, was a good man, and he helped us create our menu.
Yeah.
And we launched and never looked back. It's our 8th year now.
Awesome. Um, what type of changes? I know you all have the event space.
Mhm.
So how have you kind of changed and adapted to the way like the culinary scene is changing? What does that look like for you all?
Yeah, we've had to over the years, people want good food
Mhm.
and they want good service and they want an experience. And so we tie those three things together, and that the experience and the good service hasn't changed.
Right.
The food does change, but it hasn't drastically, it hasn't been dramatic at Moxie. We've been evolving. So we've been introducing new items on our menu as a feature just to see how it plays out. Sometimes they don't play out well, and okay, we're not going to do that again, or we tweak it and we try something different. But if that is something that we're seeing, if guests are asking us for more seafood, then we listen to them, and we see what we can bring in for a feature. And if it goes over really well, it makes it to the menu.
Awesome. So later on, we're going to learn a little bit about some of those new dishes
Okay.
you all have.
Thank you.
Chef Jason, I want you to jump right in.
Well, my culinary travel started because I had gotten into some trouble early in my life, and I think all of us have to reach a point where we just figure out what we're good at, what we like to do, and cooking was that thing that always followed me. Being that greedy kid with their eyes at the table, they trying to kick me out the house so I can go play, and I'm like, nope, it smell too good in here. And I remember my love for barbecue came. I think I told the story a million times, but I was about 10, and it was a family reunion, and my uncle just got done grilling a bunch of stuff, and I was hungry. I didn't want to wait like everybody else was playing. I was ready to eat, and so I remember he told me I couldn't have none. I had to wait, and something just was like, "Go get one anyway." And I'm like, "Yep." So I went and grabbed a rib anyway. This rib was full of barbecue sauce,
Mhm.
and so I hid it in the closet, ate the rib,
Ooh,
and so I
gotta
just
guess.
saw this knock on the door, and so like he said I'd have never known he was in here, but I seen the trail of barbecue sauce going to the closet, and so he called me in there looking like a lion eating a gazelle, and just always had a passion for it. I had to at a young age cook for my home, single parent home, and I had to learn how to cook and help my mom out and stuff like that, and ended up going to culinary school. Well, I got into some trouble, went to jail, went to prison, selling drugs, trying to be like everybody else. And so I got out, just really did some self-reflecting and trying to figure out what I was good at. It was cooking. So I went to culinary school at MATC, got my associates in hospitality. And then I went to Cardinal Stretch, rest in peace,
Yeah.
and got my bachelor's in business management. Great college, love Cardinal Stretch. Um, and everywhere I went, barbecue followed me. So I worked at Umami Moto for a while, did sushi. Um, I was an executive chef at Mikey's. When Mikey's changed over to barbecue, it was because of me. That was kind of like my first time being able to test menu planning, and being able to do it on somebody else's dime is always better because if it don't work, they're like, well, we'll try something else.
Right.
Ended up working out. I left there and became an executive chef at Marquette for a few years, and then got tired of working weekends, and I took a job for Incision as a chef. And it just seemed like everywhere I went, barbecue was following me, and I got tired of making everybody else money. And so my wife and I had just gotten married, and the opportunity presented itself to open up a barbecue place in the food hall because the rumors were floating that it was a guy that really was good, and I was selling dinners out the house, and I had Judge Mosley and Tariq and all of them was coming to get stuff, and so I left a salary job with benefits and a newborn to open my own establishment. It took a lot of prayer, a lot of faith, but I did it, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And we'll talk a little bit more about that story. I don't want to take all your time. So
All right, Sierra.
Yes. So I'm Sierra. I go by.
I've known Sierra since I was like what, 12, 13,
Yeah,
14?
preteens for sure.
Preteen,
Yeah, it's been a long time. We grown now though.
Right.
Yeah, I'm Sierra. I go by the traveling attorney on social media. I am an attorney by trade. I graduated from Marquette Law School in 2014. After law school, I ran some political campaigns in Milwaukee, worked at a private law firm. I was a contract attorney for Milwaukee Public Schools, and I just was not happy. I was miserable, quite frankly, stressed out to the point I got sick, and I had to, figure something else out. Like, I was afforded the opportunity to study abroad going into my senior year of high school in Cuernavaca, Mexico. And that just changed my whole life, my whole world understanding. And that's kind of where my love for food like started too, like to get real authentic Mexican tacos, not the stuff that we eat here. And just
I eat
learning.
authentic. I don't know what everybody else.
I mean, that's
But I
my
feel
household didn't grow up eating no authentic
no,
tacos.
I didn't either.
So just having that opportunity, I spent a lot of time. I live with a host family down there, so I spent a lot of time with my mom there. My host mom, like cooking with her, and so that's kind of where my love for food started, and also where my love for travel started. But in 2019, I had one of my coworkers who was a travel agent, and she offered to mentor me to start my own travel agency. So it literally started as a side hustle. And then obviously COVID happened. So I didn't have a side hustle at that moment, but I did decide to take the time to brand myself as a travel agent. So when the world opened back up, people would come book trips with me, and it worked. Like I was not able to work 60 hours a week at NPS and also do my travel agency full time. I was dropping the ball on clients. And so I literally heard God tell me it's clear as day, you need to quit your job. And so I didn't quit right away, like out of fear, cushy salaries and benefits. I still kind of miss that stuff sometimes. But I eventually quit, and it's been over 2 years. And honestly, it's one of the best decisions I think I've ever made. I'm so much happier now. And it also allows me to travel the world and eat good food too at the same time as exploring different places.
Awesome. And I got a couple questions for you, but I got a friend here. I got my first birthday guest, my friend Benaya. Come give me a hug, girl. Thanks for stopping by. You want to say something? No, you just gonna hang out. Okay, that's fine. Happy birthday. Thank you. So Sierra, with this traveling, and I want you to go a little bit more into what inspired you to go into the vacation planning, and I kind of want you to talk about some of your top resorts that have like the best food you've had at resorts. And I know resort dining can be very hit or miss,
Very subjective.
and everybody's palate is different, so that's a factor too. But what have had, what resorts have had some of that just excellent food experiences, those dining experiences?
Okay, so before I get to that, I'll answer your first question. But I mean, honestly, having like a mentor, like I never looked at myself as an entrepreneur. Like I always thought I was going to be a practicing lawyer, make partner somewhere, and just kind of retire in that life. So when all of this kind of happened, like I was thrown off like myself, like what is going on here? This was never in my plans. And so it's honestly something that I probably could have started making a career out of much earlier, because people were always coming to me like, where should I go? Like, what should I do? I know you've been everywhere. Like, can you help me? And so it never clicked with me that I could make money off of this. Right. And so it's honestly a skill that I've been doing for a long time as it is. And so now I'm just putting it into practice in, a solidified professional manner. As far as food around the world, yeah, stuff is very subjective. Like there have been times where I've loved food at a resort and a client hated it, or the vice versa. I thought something was not good, but they loved it. But overall, I will say very recently, I went to El Dorado Royale in Riviera Maya, and that food was phenomenal. Yeah. Like, so there's a a resort chain or managers called Charisma Properties, and they take their food like pretty seriously. So typically, if you go to a Charisma property, especially the higher end ones, you're gonna eat very well. I know in Jamaica, I had an amazing lunch at Moon Palace at Cancun. Like I love authentic like Jamaican food, and so sometimes you will find on resorts they do try to cater to like the tourists and not necessarily go as authentic. But like I really enjoyed what I had at Moon Palace. I think one of my favorite food places in the world is probably Belize. I loved Belize so much. I ate so good. I ate everything. I can't remember it all. But yes, you will enjoy the food. Yeah, you'll enjoy the food.
Oh, I know I will. I definitely wrote those little nuggets down. What are some things that you love about Milwaukee's food scene?
It's super underrated.
Mhm.
Like, so kind of a side note, one of the things on my bucket list is to visit all 50 US states. And so
what number you at?
41.
Oh,
So I've been eating around this country for a while. And Milwaukee is, for me, we have like a top 5 food scene here. Based off of other places that I've been. Like people, first of all, they don't think it's black people in Milwaukee for sure. But then they don't think we have good food here. But I think our food scene is just, you can find everything for the most part and it'd be good. It's not just like random people just coming here opening up stuff that don't have an experience, although that happens. But I think for the most part, a lot of our restaurants, they last a while and they're good. Like, yeah, I think our food scene is very
what
underrated.
about you? You all?
What do I think of our food scene?
Yeah, what's some things you love about our food
it's-
scene here?
Definitely underrated. I would agree with that. Also, like people like we're Milwaukee. When we talk to them. And I think the great thing about Milwaukee is almost like one of the a city where you can get a concept somewhere else and bring it back here, and it'll thrive. There's still like untapped concepts, that people can take advantage of. There's some good ramen spots here. There's some good, like it's my buddy just opened up Bronzeville Kitchen and Lounge. It used to be on the Bayou. And he's tweaking some stuff, but when you walk in there, it's like something like walking in carnivore. So and I think when we get to a place where we're helping each other out more, like in areas that we're not good at that others are, and we embrace each other and just start helping each other, it can really take off. I think we kind of too, you do your thing, I'll do mine here, but the food scene is really good. I think it's on its way up here for sure.
Any thoughts, Anne Marie?
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
It is kind of siloed, and there would be nice. It would be nice to have more collaboration, especially.
Yes.
It is a male-dominated industry, white industry, but it's nice to see more diversity coming onto the scene and getting attention, like from onmilwaukee.com and reading about what's happening in Milwaukee.
I love all Milwaukee.
I do too.
Me too.
And Lori,
Yeah.
Shout out
she's
to
all over the
Lori.
place. Oh yeah, Lori's awesome. But yeah, I think I really think the market halls are cool. I went to the 3rd Street Market Hall, and I was surprised. We're working all the time. In this industry, we're working all the time. I had a minute to go to a show, and then a friend took me there. Like, I didn't even know this existed. It was weird, but I loved all the different options they had. There's something for everybody there.
Yes.
So I think
love.
all of like Crossroads, and I think
3rd Street.
it's a
So
good,
many options.
it's a great opportunity for someone to come in without a lot of investment, to try something like a pop-up without having to invest heavily in staff and build out of a kitchen. And it's a nice way to put your toe in the water, so to speak.
What are so this is the part where a lot of chefs don't like to share their favorite places to go in the hidden gems. But I just want to share, because people are looking to venture out more and go to different neighborhoods and try foods and just experience more dining. And we have so much to offer. So I love to share those hidden gems and the places that the average person wouldn't think to go. What are some of y'all's favorite places?
I'll start just because I'm not a chef here, and also
I'm not either.
I have a food page as well. Like I create content for restaurants across the city. The Traveling Attorney Eats on Instagram, and so I have gotten the opportunity to go to some I think really great restaurants. I would say at the current moment, I mean Terry Lynn's is just one of my favorites. Like just period. I really enjoy her soul food, like, and I just feel like soul food can be very hit or miss in this city sometimes, but I feel like she's always on point. I'm currently obsessed with Saffron Modern Indian.
Mm-hmm.
I love Indian food. It's like one of my favorite cuisines, and they are chef's kiss every single time. And then last month, I went to Heirloom MKE in Bayview. They used to be a food truck, and now they're a restaurant. And I had such a phenomenal meal.
Me too.
So y'all can like start there. That's where I'll end because I could go on all day about this.
He's following you, Lanster.
Oh,
There you go.
thank you.
What about you, Anne Marie?
Well, when we have a minute to step away from work,
Yeah.
and there's a place that's open on a Sunday or Monday.
A comment?
Says happy birthday, Sam, from Frankly, Letitia.
Oh, Letitia. Thank you, lady. Was that comment on YouTube?
Facebook.
Facebook on your WNOV page?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the last place we went to for our anniversary was the Diplomat on Brady. It had the best dinner and the best service and the best wine. And that
I love the Diplomat.
Same.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shout out to Chef Dang.
Mm-hmm.
He got some amazing
And
trout.
congratulations.
Did you have the
Congratulations.
trout?
No, I always have the steak. And it's cooked perfectly. And you'd almost want to lick the plate. And then Dynamite, of course, on Brady. That's a go-to quite a bit.
Mhm.
And those are the two quick, one hitters right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's hard.
It is. So I second Saffron. I've been there at least 5 times, and they never disappointed. But a little background on Saffron. They're from New York. They brought their concept here.
Mm.
Oh, I know
They
that.
moved their manager here, their executive chef here, and that all of them came here with that idea. And just I think I ain't gonna say the first day. I wanted to try everything. The lamb was good. Their naan, they had like 3 or 4 different flavors of naan. Okay, I'm gonna get off that.
That butter chicken, though.
Yep,
That butter
yep,
chicken.
that's
Woo!
good too.
It's our kid's favorite.
My favorite
Butter
steakhouse. Sorry, Omar.
Oh, no.
But it's probably Jake's in Brookfield. It's kind of off the beaten path. So Jake's Steakhouse is really, really, really good. Nice setting, nice decor. They do haystack onions and
Mhm.
Brussels sprouts. Their steak is good. I pretty much don't think I had anything I didn't like there. Pizza place, I rarely eat pizza, but when I do, it's got to be Hub's. Hub's is a hidden gem here.
Got a cosign.
Yep, Hub's is a definitely hidden
Yeah.
gem. Cash only.
That's an
Still.
important thing to know. 'Cause
Yeah.
speaking of
Yes.
cash only, whenever
only.
I have a little cash on me, I'm in line at Speed Queen.
Yeah.
Don't they take cards now?
Do they?
I think that might take cards
I
now,
don't know if
but
they do, but
Yeah.
Start
I
that
haven't been
trend,
there in
though.
a while. But when I was going, I had to have cash.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Kurt Fugel's my friend, so Dairyland, he got probably his burgers are really good. His ice, I'm gonna tell you something about Kurt. Kurt's one of my mentors. I've been knowing him about 15 years. And he's been working on that chicken and that fried chicken and that burger since I've known him. Like just when people open stuff like him, like they've been working on it for years. So I think I'm gonna keep going if I keep talking. So I'm gonna stop. there. So
Get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of pizza, one of my favorite pizza places is Zaffiro's
Yeah.
on
Oh,
Farwell.
yeah.
I like that Wisconsin, that crispy thin
Yes.
crust. That's
Mhm.
that's my favorite go-to for pizza. So I live on the north side, so I'll venture all the way down there just to get a pizza and come back.
Mhm.
But I'll go pretty much anywhere for some food. Um One of my favorite places is Lucky Ginger.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
That's a few doors down from Saffron. The fried rice. My friends put me on to it's the salmon, the barbecue salmon, but putting it over the Thai fried rice.
Sounds good.
Delicious, made to
Mhm.
perfection. Yeah, I really really enjoy Lucky Ginger. Um, Rice and Roll, Bistro. They have really good sushi, and then their sister restaurant, Ken by Rice and Roll, in the Tulsa downtown Tulsa area. It's really good. I had a really good dining experience there recently. One of my favorite things there is the beef salad, the spicy beef salad.
Mhm.
Any of you had that or been there?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but it's really good.
I'm adding it to my list right
Just-
now.
Yep. And so the listener exclusive is all of these gems that are dropping on the show. You have to
Mhm.
listen to get those because
Right.
I'm not reposting them. So you got to make sure you tuned in or you watch it or you watch recording later. But I will be resharing the chef information after the show. But all of these little secrets, you got to be tuned in to get it. Tell your friends. um, I want to shift and go into some culinary trends, both globally and in Milwaukee. What are some ways you are staying creative in the kitchen? Are there any trends that you have not tried before in the kitchen but have been experimenting with lately? Any thoughts on that? Anything come to mind for either of you?
I'll go. Can I give a shout out?
Give a shout out.
Okay, Pastor Gary, I see you. Thank you. That's one of my best friends.
Okay.
We kind of came up together. But I would say with me, as long as you have the main staples, the brisket, the pork shoulder, the chicken, and I think that was my problem in the end. I try to do everything, and when you give too many options, it gives people too much to think about. And when you can just hone in on the main things, the things that got me there, and that also came from allowing other people to run my business, so that's probably another topic later in the show. But one trend that I've adapted to, because cooking so long, I can see what somebody did and I know what they did. I ain't gonna tell their secrets, but I started doing turkey tips like they do in Chicago. Oxtails has become a popular thing. Smoking, I smoke them all the way through now. I used to braise them, but I smoke them all the way through now. Saturdays. So about 4 to 5 hours. And then after that, I can't tell you. So,
I hear that.
so about 4 to 5 hours. It
Y'all
takes a
know
while.
I'm gonna try this.
I'll tell you when we get off.
Okay.
But just and then also you have to take into consideration with the trends like people's pockets. Everything's higher, things are more expensive, and you want to keep in mind that you don't want to price people out your facility as well. So, one of the things we had is like a budget item. So we do hot links, and everybody been all over them. So they're not too expensive, and so we put those on. But I would say that I think one more thing, and I'll let her have it, is people like a story associated with what they're eating. So if you could take a person along the journey of why you did something, and one of mine is when I do demos and things like that is cornflake oven fried chicken. And it was one of those things that we couldn't afford KFC all the time and stuff. And so we did that. And it was one of the first items I learned how to cook. And the first time I made it, like I was happy, like, yes, I cooked some. I was 14 and they cut into it. It was bloody. So that was like one of the most disappointing times and the most triumphant times in my life. But it did motivate me to get it right. So just, that salmon croquettes, we all had them, or jack mackerel, and just people like a story associated to why they're eating, because then they understand more and where it came from.
What about you? What are your chefs doing over there?
Yeah. So I'm not a chef. I won't even pretend to be one. But I have learned a lot, and what we do is we collaborate quite a bit, and it's a real team effort. When we first opened Moxie, we surveyed our friends and family, and we sent out a survey monkey, and it was really short. It's like, if we open a restaurant, will you come and support us? But secondly, what do you want to see? What kind of food do you want? What kind of experience do you want? And hands down, they all said they wanted a great bar, and no kids were allowed there. So it was funny, they were like, we want a place for us, like when we go out for adults. But they did share with us what they like, and that helped us build our menu. And one of the things with the story, Chef Tony, our kids went to school together. That's how we knew him. And so when we were looking for a chef, his wife reached out to us and said, "Are you looking for a chef?" We're like, "We are." And she said, "Tony's available." So that was like the stars aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he brought many, many, many dishes to the table that were just that he learned how to make when he was younger, and made at different restaurants that he worked in throughout Milwaukee. One was a spicy shrimp that was a variation on what he used to make at one of his older restaurants, Brew City Barbecue. And and scallops carbonara, but his spin on it. But one thing that's carried through since he left, that we had to do a little bit of a variation on because we didn't have the original recipe, was his short rib sliders, and they're with bourbon soaked peaches and Cambozola cheese melted onto the rolls, and just the flavor of all of that together with this really delicious barbecue sauce that's house made.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's Tony's legacy, and we still carry it through today. And I'm really glad we're doing that, because it brings people loved Chef Tony. He'd come out and talk to people, and where is Chef? He always had his tools, in his pocket and his watch, and so it makes people feel good when they order that for lunch.
Yeah. I want to hear a little bit about your team environment and how you cultivate, that working relationship. And I think it's important for diners to understand like the moving pieces that go together when operating a restaurant, operating a kitchen, any of that thing. So any of those tidbits that you want to share, or how you put your team together, or anything come to mind there? And either of you can jump in.
I do want to make a comment to your previous one. You heard guys clear as day. Same here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So literally flew out to Atlanta. I already knew I was going to open a restaurant. I had to quit my job and stuff like that. And this was my first time being away from my family for a while. So I was able to kind of just, really just kind of meditate on stuff. And the young man I wanted to meet at a barbecue restaurant down there, I saw him on the Travel Channel. He just so happened to be there. We talked for like an hour. And so I got back to the hotel, and I heard him as clear as day too. I heard guys clear as day, like, you either going to trust me or you're not. And so it was almost like, okay, because you can't do both. And so I'm like, okay, I called my wife, like, I got to quit. And she was like, what? And like, I heard I got to quit. I'm either going to trust him or not. It's either going to work out, or I'm going to live in fear. But to go back to your question, one of the things I had to understand was leadership, and leadership works in the restaurant. And when you have a business, you hire people that can take.
Chef Jason, let's hold that thought. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Flavor Fix on WNOV.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
If you're looking for mouth-watering eats and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
Brownstone Social Lounge, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge for good vibes, good music, and good food. Offers all-day happy hour every Tuesday and Wednesday. $6 wings, $8 flatbreads, drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesdays. All essential workers receive 10% off their purchase with proof of ID every Tuesday. Kickback with R&B karaoke Thursday beginning at 7 p.m. followed by Throwback Thursday. Brownstone Social Lounge. Great food, great drinks, fresh hookah, located at 524 North Water Street.
21% of adults experience some form of mental illness. That is the equivalent of over 50 million Americans. Further, data tells us that adults with a mental illness that receive no treatment, a staggering 28 million people. On Saturday, January 27th, the Executive Committee of the Community Brainstorming Conference invites you to the panel discussion, The State of Mental Health in Our Community. Industry experts, community advocates, and service providers explore the data, issues, and talk solutions. Join Dr. Kwaku Akrafi Amahasi, Tarshay Wiggins, Sylvester Jackson, Dr. Mark Fossey, Simone Kilgore, El Halo, Nicole Waltner, Walter Lanier, and others. This free event is open to the public, hosted at St. Matthew CME Church, 2944 North 9th Street. Southern breakfast served at 8 a.m. Program starts at 9 a.m. Or join us online at communitybrainstormingconference.org.
Wisconsin's #1 voice, WNOV.
And we're back with Flavor Fix with Samantha Starr here on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in, whether you're listening on the radio or watching live on YouTube or Facebook. Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you're just joining us after the break, we have Chef Jason here from Heaven's Table Barbecue. We have owner Anne Marie Arroyo. I got it. From Moxie Food and Drink. And then we have Sierra Chester, the traveling attorney here. And then my friend Vanea is here just hanging out. This is my birthday show. So throughout the show, I might have some folks popping in to say hi and send some birthday wishes on the air. So we were just talking about, I believe we were talking about culinary trends in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Remind me.
Building a team.
Oh yeah, building a team and what that looks like and that culture in your establishment. And Chef Jason was, before the break, he was going into his.
So when I first opened Heaven's Table, it was like 14-hour days. So I knew right away I had to develop, and figure out how long it takes before somebody needs to show up and when somebody needs to leave, when the meat needed to be put on. So it was a lot of putting things in place. Once you have that, you have to understand as an owner, leadership and putting the right people in the right positions. And what I mean by that is when you hire a GM, understand their background, understand that nobody should know more than you as an owner. Don't get lazy or complacent and just happy we'll do stuff for you, because it'll come back to bite you. I learned that. But their roles is to take away certain pains that you can feel. So stress and worry. They should be able to take care of most things for you. And they should be able to handle customer situations. They should be able to handle situations where you can stay focused as a leader on how to generate more revenue for your business. And so in finding them people, it should flow the way it needs to flow. And just really working on and in your business, I mean making sure the back of the house stuff is right, the your finances, because that's the thing that'll make or break you. Knowing what's coming in, what's going out. So I had to deal with that. You know, I ran from a lot of stuff, and all the stuff I'm telling you is stuff I ran from, and I'm just trying to help somebody else. And making sure that's on point. And like I said, no one should know more than you. Developing and creating a right team doesn't happen right away. There is some trial and error that you will have to endure from in picking people, because you got to learn different personalities. They have to understand customers will complain about stuff because it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's about what they was going through before they walked in. Just being able to be patient with them, being able to, not feed into the negativity, and just keep focused on your goals.
That's good. I think it's so many aspiring, cooks and up and coming chefs who are considering, opening a restaurant or some type of brick and mortar or even being in a food hall. So this information is definitely good to share. The more you know, seriously. I want to back up to some travel stuff with Sierra. And I want to go into some travel tricks and tips when it comes to dining and how you research and find restaurants and what that looks like. For a minute, I dabbled in some itinerary planning, which is really fun. I love doing the research. I love looking at different foodie groups and what's going on in different cities. And so I know the amount of work, like if you're really specific and if you really have your heart set on certain things, but a lot of people don't want to do that. So what are some, quick ways to find restaurant recommendations when traveling and even traveling abroad?
So I will say the very first thing that I do for, like, I know I'm going somewhere is I'm looking at restaurants. Because for me, food can truly make or break a trip. Like if you are just going to eat terrible, whether you're a foodie or not, if you are constantly going to places with subpar food, that's gonna have a negative like connotation feel like to your trip. So I take that very, very seriously. I mean, one of the things that I do is because I do follow a lot of food pages and other like travel people. I use social media a lot. Like I make lists, and when I see posts like a restaurant in this city, a restaurant in this city, I have so many like different lists of different places. So I'll just add a post to it. And then when it's time for me to start planning for that particular place, I'll go through the posts and like look through it. Tourism board websites are extremely helpful. And that's just for anything travel related to that city. Most of the time they have places you can stay, activities you can do, restaurants you can go eat at. And if someone is partnering with their city's tourism board, most of the time it's usually a pretty decent, like well vetted restaurant. They typically don't send you to like terrible places. So that's been really helpful. And sometimes I just Google like best restaurant in the city, and I'll just go through reviews and just look at menus and decide what I want to try and what I don't. So it's not hard to do, but like because I take it seriously, it can take me some time.
One thing that I do is I go on the Facebook groups. So I look at like Black Travel Movement and like a lot of those other specific groups to certain cities that I might be visiting. And I'll look at what people are posting, because you go to the search bar and just put, type in, restaurants for brunch, and you'll see people sharing their experiences and other people commenting with more. And so that's one thing that I found useful and helpful for me as well.
It can be overwhelming, but I really love TikTok because it's not just reading and like looking at pictures. Like you can see like the food, the experiences. And sometimes it's just like a short clip, like a 7-10 second clip, so you can actually get a real good visual of the restaurant. But I already know TikTok can be super overwhelming, so I understand why somebody may not want to go that route. But it's helped me make a lot of good decisions if I'm like toying between some restaurants.
While we're on TikTok, what are some of the most interesting TikTok food trends that you've seen? Have you seen any? I'm not on TikTok. So I only get what people send me, but I haven't really gotten much in the food face.
I don't know about like food trends specifically, but I've seen some really
Recipes.
cool like recipes, but also
Mhm.
like kitchen gadgets. Like I even bought like a little it's like a Mueller chopper where it's just like you press down on it and it chops all your vegetables and you really don't have to do nothing.
Oh.
They've got like this cheese grater that's like a wheel. So you just put the block in there and just spin it and it just like shreds it. Like I've been really into, I don't even be cooking like that, but I be really into like the kitchen gadget scenes. Um, yeah, there's so many recipes. Like,
Mhm.
so I have a food page on TikTok too, and now it's just all food. And I'm just like, I can't keep up. I be getting overwhelmed, so I'll just close it.
Eh.
But like there's always just something new. I saw somebody like popping popcorn on a flat iron. Don't ask me why, but it just popped up and I just watched it. Because it was there. So it's always something funny, something new. I have a whole ton of restaurants to go to from there. And I also be watching Keith Lee. I mean, everybody know Keith Lee, I think. He just goes to local restaurants all around the world, doesn't tell them who he is, and he gives like his very honest opinion. And pretty much anytime he visits a restaurant, they ended up selling out within like the next week. Like they have lines out the door. So it's stuff like that I be watching as far as food related stuff.
What about you, Chef Jason? Are you into the TikTok? Have you seen
Um,
anything interesting?
The only way I see TikTok is if it's somehow slid into Instagram news feed. But I do have I had obsession with mukbangs. Just watching people eat on like enormous amount, a lot of food. Yeah, so like it sounds like a dirty word, but I mean it's just really watching people eat large amounts of food. Sometimes I get ideas from it, but other times I'm just like, are they really gonna eat all this? And then I'm like, man, I want some of that now. But it can get gross. I kind of turn it down because you don't want to hear people chewing and swallowing and all that. But
I can't watch
some
people
stuff is just unbelievable.
My nieces love those videos.
Yeah.
I always catch them watching them. I'm like, y'all really entertained by this.
I had to heal myself from that. It was getting bad.
First of all, I don't like watching people eat.
Okay.
Like, especially like a lot of food. And another thing that irritates me is like, well, I know like cooks and chefs do this, but I can't handle it mentally. But like pulling apart food and they're just food all in your hands. And I don't like to see it. What I have been liking to watch lately is the cake creations, like the decorating and all of that. And then like yeah, I don't even eat cake, but I love watching the art of it, those fun, quick TikTok just clips or Instagram or the reels. I like that.
I don't like cake.
Yeah, I don't like cake. I never have. I just really got into eating sweets probably the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah, I had never been a sweet eater growing up. Candy, nothing, like none of that. I do like my butter pecan from Cops.
Okay. Yep.
That's a good one.
But yeah, yeah, that's the sweets thing is new for me. And yeah, so I have my limits, and it has to be like caramel in there, got some pecans. That's about it. Like if it don't have that included in it, I'm okay.
So you like turtle?
I can't because I'm allergic to chocolate.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I have a lot of weird allergies too. Yeah.
Okay, I get it now. I thought it was just like, okay, I get it now. I'm not offended now.
I'm with you on the cake decorating though. Like I could sit there and watch them decorate cakes like all day. Like I went to New Jersey maybe like 5-6 years ago, and I actually did a cake decorating class like with the cake boss. And it was so much fun. Like I didn't eat really most of the cake because I'm not a huge sweets person either. But it was just like a really cool experience. And there's a show on Netflix. I think it's called Is It Cake? Yeah, and I really enjoy watching that too.
Cake. I write that down.
Yeah, it's real cool.
Nice. I got another visitor coming in soon.
Okay.
All right.
So I want to talk. I know Anne Marie, you brought your menu in.
I did.
And I want to talk a little bit about the approach to planning, menu planning, and creating a well balanced and appealing selection for the restaurant and for your guests, and how often that has to be kind of reinvented or modified to fit your diner's taste.
Yeah. Well, one thing we're not is trendy. So we like to stick to the basics and comfort food, and but then we have a little variation on, like, our piccata isn't what you'd normally think of when you eat chicken piccata. Has a creme beurre blanc sauce, and we pan fry the chicken so it has a nice crisp to it, and we serve it with linguine. But it is a collaboration between myself and my wife Tamala and our chef and our front of house staff and our guests. You know, we all are kind of like ear to the ground all the time, like, oh, you like that? Okay. Or, oh, could you guys, you had this dish 6 years ago and I loved it. And so we'll bring it back, but in a different, maybe have a different preparation because we don't have the recipe like we used to. But we just started brunch again since the pandemic hit. So we haven't served brunch in almost 4 years. And so we brought that back 3 Sundays ago. And we looked at our old menus. We just looked at our old menus because we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. And we knew that people liked what we had, but we also wanted to bring some fresh ideas to the table. So one of them is like our waffle hash browns. They're so delicious. We make them after the potatoes are prepped, shredded, we make them in the waffle iron, and they're so good. We have a variation of that with chicken. It's piccata waffles, with the crispy capers that we bake, and it's just little things like that. We're trying to put a little spin on what you'd normally see at a breakfast place, but we want to bring it up a notch a little bit because we're Moxie.
Yeah,
so we got to put a little spin on it. And, with our mimosas and our Bloody Marys are flowing. And now I forgot what your question was.
No, we were just talking about the menu,
about those waffles.
like how you just just have a well balanced menu and the thought process that goes into planning what your menu looks like and what's most appealing to diners, your specific diners too.
Yeah, well, that's something we'd like to think about too. Is it's not something that I personally like, but what our guests would like. And people have allergies or gluten intolerance or vegetarian or vegan. We try to have a good mix of something for everyone on the menu. There may not be a lot of vegan items, but we are a from scratch kitchen. And so if there's something that someone would like, we have the ingredients, we'll make it.
Right.
But we try to have something for everyone.
Personally, and this is from like a diner perspective, what are some things that you all look for in the menu when you're going out to eat? For me, I love variety. Some people don't like a large menu, but I do because I can get picky, even though I eat a lot of different things. But I like to see a lot of menu options just because, sometimes I might want a few things. I want to try different things. So I look for, I guess, full options. But I eat everything except pork. So I do like variety when it comes to that too. I'm obviously not vegan or vegetarian, but I do enjoy those types of dishes as well. Yep.
I look. You wanna go? I look for something I've never had before. I tell my students, be as creative as possible. A recipe is just the base for your imagination. So whatever is no sense of reinventing the wheel if you can get a base from somewhere and then make it your own. And I had to really, so like for like the last 8 months, I haven't eaten beef, pork, or chicken unless I'm tasting something. Yeah. So I'm right to the seafood, fish section. And so just something I haven't had. Trying to see something that stands out. I am nosy to see how their menus are developed. And kind of the creativity they have in it, like with the description and things like that, but yeah, that's kind of what I look for.
All right. That was good. I want to come back to some of that, but we're going to go on a brief break, and we'll be back. Flavor Fix with Samantha Starr.
What's your flavor?
All right, we back with the groove. Hey, hey, and we got some more friends and family here. My mama is in the house. Hey, thank you. My friend Marcus is here. I've known Marcus since probably sixth grade. Yeah, so it's some long time relationships in here. Thanks for celebrating with me and popping in on the show. Feel free to chime in if you hear any good topics that you want to share a little tidbit about. We were just talking about before we went to break, menu planning and what goes into creating a well balanced and appealing selection for your diners and your guests. And then we were talking about what are some things you specifically look for on a menu when you go to a restaurant. Mom or Marcus, either y'all want to say what you look for when you go to a restaurant, like what does the menu have to have, or like is there anything specific, any type of meats or side dishes? Come closer. Hmm.
Ask people that have been there previously, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Or I'll look it up on TikTok, or I'll just look at the ratings and see what's like a popular item. It's based on the mood that I'm in. If I'm and like want a really good salad or something like that, or a really good protein, I usually try to do the research. But I'm more of a visual person, so I'll try to see if I can find it on TikTok or one of those pages, for like the foods and showing you what's all the trendy spots.
Nice.
Yeah.
Benea, did you have something? Excited.
So I'm a sweets person. So I always look at the desserts first. And one dessert that I always look for is a classic dessert. It's the warm brownie with the vanilla and fudge. I can't find it on a lot of menus, but the ones that I do, I get super excited about.
Mom, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Okay. What about you? Food. And it takes me a while to figure out what I want to eat. So I try to look at the menu beforehand, so I'm not holding up the table. But sometimes I still get there and I hear what everybody else is ordering, and then I'm like, oh, now I want to change mine. I can be real indecisive, so that's why I appreciate a menu that has a lot of options.
I feel like I'm a little bit of the opposite. Like, I don't like really like 2 and 3 page menus.
Yeah,
I just feel like that gets overwhelming. But also, and it could just be like me in my head mentally, but I feel like when you have a menu that large, you're not doing everything well. But then when you have a smaller menu, you're probably doing those things well because you cook them all the time. So that's kind of like my thought process on like why I kind of like a smaller condensed menu.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we did that at Moxie. We used to have a really big menu, and then we decided we need to pare it down. And you said it, do what we do really well, and not try to have too big of a menu where the kitchen can't get efficient or proficient. That and then there's also the inventory side of it, and having to carry a lot of inventory and throwing away inventory because we can't sell everything on the menu. So we pared it down. And I think it's made it easier for some people who have a hard time trying to decide on what they're going to have. Yeah.
Nice. So I'm skipping around a little bit, but I want to go into, since we're, talking in the kitchen, for our listeners and people who are not familiar with the hospitality industry, like what goes into the preparation for service, for opening for the day? What does that preparation look like? Can you share some of those tidbits to give our viewers or our listeners and viewers, I guess, like a little high level view of the day in the life of a kitchen?
Well, it's a little simpler for a barbecue place because we're getting the same items unless we're switching things up. But typically our meat goes in about 6 at night, and then I have a guy that comes in about 5 in the morning and he takes it out. So just put enough wood in. I have a convection smoker, so I don't have anybody that needs to be there all night throwing logs in. So it costs a little bit, but I cut hours down. So right. So you pay for it once, but you don't have to keep paying it overtime. So, but for a more finer dining kitchen, it starts on your days off, and when you're ordering from different vendors, you got to make sure everything comes in. So you got somebody there early to make sure everything come in. If things don't come in, then you got to figure out what you're going to substitute it with. Because a lot of times you don't even know if you're going to have everything till they come. They may have forgotten some, or somebody may have forgotten to order some. So being able to adjust to that, and all this stuff happens before the customer even walks through the door. You may open at 5, people get there about 1 or 2, and start getting ready for a 5 to 10 o'clock service. And seeing what you got on the books, making sure you have a nice amount of product. If you're running a special, you got to make sure that's right and that's going well. It's a lot that goes into it. And as an owner, as soon as you say you're gonna open it, you can forget about sleep because
That's true.
you in the bed, you turning and you wondering what you can do tomorrow, and if something didn't work out, you worried about that, and then the We Energies bill come, and then you look at that, and go back to sleep and you had a dream they cut your power off, and you
Uh,
know, it's just it's a lot that goes into it, and if you don't have the endurance and mental stability to handle it, you're gonna fold. We talked about COVID briefly. You know, that made or break people. If you wasn't strong, if you didn't know how to adjust, it took you out. You know, I started delivering meals in a cargo van, 2 meat dinners, going whatever they wanted. I was taking it. So I just knew I had a staff to feed. You know, staff, family to feed. I was okay, but they had family to feed. So you got to have that mentality. You know, when you're in the kitchen. So whatever it takes.
yeah. Any
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, that's true. The kitchen side, and then in the front of house where the dining room, where the guests are going to be. So yeah, we're in there early and sweeping, mopping, dusting, stocking all the deliveries from the day, making sure we have enough inventory for the night. Um, Checking in orders from, not just the beverage side, but the food side, and trying to think of, okay, we didn't get XYZ in, what can we substitute? Like you were saying, dangerously, we're across the street from Sendix. That was a problem the first year. We were there a lot. I'm like, this is not sustainable. We're paying way too much money for this food. So we had to get our inventory in check and our menu in check. But it's a team effort for sure. It takes a lot of people to open. We have a casual fine dining, and it takes I'm cleaning in the morning. Our servers are coming in, our bartender, we're making sure everything's sparkling, and rolling silverware, polishing glassware, making sure, the dishwasher's running, like you said. And then there was We Energy's bill, and someone left the air on last night and it's 0 degrees outside. Why is the air on? Open a window. We don't need to pay for air conditioning when it's below 0 outside. It's because it was a little warm in the dining room that night. So yeah, it's all that wrapped into one, but we definitely could not do any of it without our team. We all bring something to the table, and we make the Moxie magic happen each and every day. And so I'm really grateful for everybody who we have on our team.
Yeah. So, how do you all ensure like the consistency of the dishes coming out of the kitchen, especially during the busy periods of your service day or night? What does that look like? I'm sure it's just like a turning table, but share a little bit about that process. And I know it's slightly different for you, but whatever you might be able to add.
Yeah, you can go.
So for me, that's where the first couple years came in. You have to make things simple enough for people. You got to understand people aren't wired the way you're wired. So making things simple enough that if you have to hire and fire and hire, people are able to read directions and just follow those simple instructions. We in a perfect world, we will hire the elite chefs and all these people, but we're dealing with whatever we can get, and no shade against that, but you have to make it simple for people. A lot of people don't have that background, that experience, and you almost have to do on the job training. So the easier you can make it, the simpler you can make it, the better. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, I agree. We have had to train people from never having been in a restaurant in their lives, working in one, and we have. I'm either on the expo line, making sure when things are coming out, they look consistent. 2 salmon dishes have to look exactly the same if they're especially if they're going to the same table. And our staff keeps us honest too. They've been with us a long time, so they'll know. They came back yesterday with our piccata waffles. Hey, where's the capers? There's right, the capers. So we have to make sure, or the bacon's missing from the poutine or whatever, So I think it just happens with experience and making sure that we're all holding each other accountable in the kitchen. And it's okay to have a voice to say, even to our chef, hey, chef, you missed something on that. And that's okay. We have a safe environment, and we have to hold each other accountable and making sure. I always say to especially our new people eat with their eyes.
Yeah.
I'll remember that. People eat with their eyes. And now, that looks sloppy. There's something on the plate that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And then you send that out.
Yeah. And then you the serving portions. Like you don't want too much, but you don't want too little. So how do you keep that happy medium with the plate size and the portions? Because you got people from all across the scale. Well, they'll see the smaller portions, and some people appreciate that. But then the next person will be like, "This is not enough food for me." So yeah, I know juggling that is interesting. How do you all thinking about some of the challenges? How do you all kind of deal with or respond to, maybe a menu item has run out quickly than maybe you anticipated, and the frustrations that come with the diners who expect everything to just be there? What does that look like? And we can talk to some of our guests here too, if to share, from a diner perspective. But I like to hear from our restaurateurs in the building.
Well, I can get away with it because we making it every day. So you got to come early or you come late. It's going to be all bad. And it wasn't too receptive early, but, they understand, and you're only making so much. I'm not trying to waste a lot of money. And we making it every day. But yeah, I get it. Some people don't like to hear no. They probably been tasting it all day and they get there and you don't have it. You're gonna be the recipient of some conversations and some words. So you got to be able to compensate them if you can, or offer something. Well, kind of probably your second best option for them. So
hangry people are
no,
tough to deal with.
It's me. I'm
It's
hangry.
hard. I get there. Yeah, we're human, right? We get hungry. We want what we want.
Anybody want to share? Sierra, do you want to share from a diner perspective any of those frustrations? I know you you understand the hospitality industry, but I want to keep it real also because it works both ways.
That's really a good question. I mean, for me, like I definitely try to give like restaurants grace. I know everybody has like a bad day. So typically even if I get like a bad meal or maybe a particularly not great service, I'm not the type that's going to write someone off just like the first time. I just don't think that's right. Like no one's perfect every single day, but I feel like when it becomes a pattern, like that's when I will start to I write letters. I speak to managers. Like I'm that type of person because I know I genuinely don't complain a lot, but if I think something is that bad to be addressed, like it's probably that bad. And some people be afraid to like speak up. But like for me, as also a business owner, like I want a client to speak up if I did something wrong or they weren't happy. And so I would think, sometimes other business owners would, respect that and accept that as well.
Yeah. I'm definitely the one who I'll give chances, right? I don't write anyone off the first time unless it's just unbelievably horrible. Like it was like that bad, then I'll be like, I don't have to go back there at all. And that sucks, right? Because you want people to keep going to your establishment. But yeah, I do. I'll speak to a manager, and I usually, I'll talk to people. I'll share feedback, and I think feedback helps. Even the reviews, because hopefully the restaurant is considering all of this stuff and taking it in. So no, I think that's good. Anybody else want to chime in? Vanessa, Marcus?
So I'm always paying attention to the customer experience when I go. And usually if I'm going out to eat, I'm going with a group. Otherwise, I'm cooking at home. And one of the things that's a pet peeve is waiting an unusual amount of time for something. So either you're waiting for your food or you're waiting for the waitress to bring your check so that you can go. But a recent experience I had, I was with Sam last week at Movita. Yep. Is that what it was called? Movita. And first time ever, the waitress brought us our check with a QR code on the bottom of the receipt. And we could just check out on our own, and we didn't have to wait for her to bring change or our card back. Just scan the QR code and check out. And I thought that was a delightful experience. So I don't like to wait. Just bring me my QR code.
You want to chime in on anything, Marcus?
Want to use a big mic?
Well, just overall, like I'm real big on ambiance, customer service, the food being hot and fresh, and things like that. Like a pet peeve, like she just said, is just waiting. I understand that places get busy, but you have to have certain systems going on to where it isn't like so bad. There's been times where I've been to places and we didn't get our food for up to like an hour, and that was just like, no matter how good the food is or how good the drinks are, that's always going to stick out. So that's like a big deal for me.
So
You got something? Oh, he's stretching. Oh,
I would just add to that. Like, I know she mentioned grace for especially small businesses and new businesses. So they a lot of people don't know how to. They just don't know how to do trial runs. People build and they run out of money and they ready to open, and so they trying to figure it out as they go instead of admitting they need some type of assistance. But if they've never done it before, then they don't know they need help, right? So I would say at least give a restaurant a couple weeks after they freshly open, because even Two Below Honey wasn't good when they first opened. So I don't know how they are now, but and so like when I went, my experience, I'm sorry for mentioning their name, it's a place downtown, but they had like 3/4 inch cut fried green tomatoes, and I'm like, well, man, how long did that take to get tender? Like, but I was just thinking that for myself, and I understand they have a new staff, and so I tried them out again. I didn't get that. I tried something else, and it was better. So I just think giving grace, like people open restaurants because they think they can do it, and they don't have the knowledge or want to admit that they need the help to do it. They just open it because they got the money to do it, and that's not always the best idea. So like she said, if it's a trend, if it didn't happen twice, now look. But I also think that's probably an opportunity for you to do some consulting and charge people. You can travel and consult and defend.
Yeah. I use those when I try to get clients. I market myself that way too. But he brought up another a frustration of mine is like when I'm with a group of people and one person gets their food that's like scorching hot, but the rest of ours is kind of just like cold. Like that's very irritating to me. Because I like my food like scorching hot. Even at home, like I warm my stuff up till it's like scorching hot, and then I'll wait. But like I don't know how it works back there. I have no experience, but like bringing people food out at the same temperature when that doesn't happen, that's kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, that's definitely a everybody on the same page thing, and it's all on the expediter. I'll tell you what happened. It's on the expediter, not firing stuff off right, and 9.5 times out of 10, that person with the hot plate had a well done steak, and everybody else stuff was done before theirs. So that's kind of probably how that worked out.
So I want to hear a little bit about your menu, your menus, I should say, some popular menu items that are some fan favorites that folks are always looking for, or a cocktail. Anything come to mind?
Oh, I can start with the cocktail.
Where's your menu? You brought it, right?
I did. They're in the thank you. They're in that white basket. They're in the back of it. Yeah, I brought 3. We have 3 services now. We have brunch, lunch, and dinner. The Moxie cocktail is our signature cocktail. So if you're a bourbon fan, bourbon, Cardamaro, little simple, little lemon juice, and it's just the right amount of ingredients that make it a magical cocktail. You just add some ice and you're good to go. And that's been on our menu for 7 years. And it's at the top all the time because
I've had that.
Have you had it?
Yes.
It's kind of a one and done, I think. I don't know. Did you have 2?
I had 1.5.
Oh, okay. And you remember.
I do.
Yeah, that's a popular one. for dinner, our salmon is our number one seller with mashed potatoes, a little lemon butter sauce, and capers. That's a popular one. And the salmon niçoise salad is a popular one as well. You kind of feel like you're in Paris, maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
Transport
always
you to
wanna feel
Paris
like
having
I'm
that
in
salmon.
Paris.
Me too. I love me some Paris.
Yeah.
I can't wait to visit. I haven't gone yet.
I did bring some chicken Waldorf salad. We should probably try
Ooh.
soon because we're reaching that serve safe.
Oh yeah, we can try it.
Right.
Right.
Did you bring?
I brought some forks. They're in that black napkin.
While we get some chicken salad going, Chef Jason,
Yeah.
want to share some of your fan favorites? And I got another friend that just walked in. Hey, Dominique.
I was listening on my way here.
If
For
you
the
want-
turkey tips, I'm gonna start off from items that people won't kill me as much if I don't have, to the ones people definitely gonna kill me if I ain't got it. So the turkey tips is something I introduced for people that don't eat pork. So that's a popular item we have. The brisket is always number one, but right behind it and probably taking over, we do smoked pastrami. And we make that in-house. And that's probably one of those things that if I don't have it, then they're gonna be like you, frustrated, upset. They'll settle for the brisket, but sometimes they're just gonna walk right up out of there. So it's something I can't really keep a lot of, but also have to be cautious because the cost of it is up there. I could brine it myself, but it take 10 to 12 days, and I just don't have that type of time. But I got the motivation from Cats in New York. I just kind of did my own spice rub on it, and I had the opportunity. Chef Reichland, he's a barbecue guy. I was able to cater his book signing. He had a book coming out, and one of the items in his book was pastrami, and so I tried his brined out, and I served it at the restaurant, and it went real well. So I put it on the menu. So I would say the pastrami is probably king right now.
That brisket is my absolute
Oh,
favorite.
it
With the
is.
cornbread, I make a
Yes.
little cornbread sandwich with the brisket. It'd be so good for
So we can
So
probably
good.
we can call that the traveling nurse or
Traveling
traveling
attorney.
See, I might be speaking something, but we can do that.
Yes, I would love that.
So
This
That
has
was good.
walnuts for it. There are walnuts in the somewhere back there if you want to add
I
some.
totally wish I could, but it's
Are
been
you-
so long
Are you
that
okay?
I've been on straight. I've been a pescatarian.
Okay.
I taste stuff. I could taste it, but I can't
Yeah.
indulge.
This is our
Yeah.
chicken
So-
Waldorf salad.
Yeah. So tell us about this.
Yeah. So this is our excuse me a minute
Oh.
here. You're good. This is our chicken Waldorf salad that we have on our lunch menu. And it is a variation on the traditional Waldorf Astoria in New York, but this is actually the Chicago location. A chef back in the day, this was his creation. And that's why they named it the chicken Waldorf based on this chef's creation. And we just put a little spin on it. We added little chopped celery, some spices. I can't tell you what they are.
Fine.
And you top it with some walnuts.
Yeah.
There's some golden raisins in there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we have this. We serve it in a nice soft baguette, or you can have it on romaine.
This would be really, really good with baguette.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Would
Sarah,
you like to
how
try?
you doing over there?
Call me a mid bite. It's very refreshing.
It is
It's
refreshing.
very refreshing.
It's packed with flavor. I like the we're gonna have to I like the sweet and savory combo. I'm getting all of the flavors. Almost I can taste, besides, identifying some of the spices, like I can really taste a lot of the fresh ingredients. What about y'all? What about y'all over there? You like it? Summer, springtime is very refreshing. Yeah.
There's
Mhm.
some walnuts
You
over
can't
there
have
if you
them
want
while
to
you-
add.
While you all
I was about to make some up. I taste notes of no.
So we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier when you were asking about like diners and how they feel about menus. I love this menu. Like for me, like this is a good menu. Like there's not a lot, but there's very different like things I think for a wide variety, like a type of people. And also the French 75 just caught my eye like immediately. I love me a good French 75. So yeah, I really like it. It's sleek and cute, and yeah.
Thank you.
Grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can deconstruct that.
The flatbread. Where?
that was the pizza place.
What pizza place?
It wasn't
Moxie. Oh, that was Trouble and Sons.
Yes, so
I know. Oh,
the
you wanna
challenges
share?
of COVID.
Yeah.
We had another restaurant. We closed it last June. It just 5 years, and we couldn't keep our kitchen staffed.
Yeah.
It was amazing food,
I
amazing
loved it.
pastas, pizzas, bar. But yeah, COVID took us out on that one.
Is it a way? Can I ask her a question?
Yeah.
I don't want to take your show over. Is it a way to kind of bring little bits of items back, like for specials? There, I think people would
That's a good
love
idea.
that.
Yeah,
Like certain
I would
days.
appreciate that.
absolutely.
Certain days. Just,
The flatbread first.
I was going to ask, what is your favorite? The flatbread. We had the flatbread at Moxie first, and then when we opened Trouble and Sons, we thought, well, we don't want to cannibalize ourselves, so we took away the flatbread from Moxie, but we could bring the flatbreads back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a
It's easy,
favorite?
it's
Do you remember?
Do you have a favorite? Do you remember
Yeah.
what kind it was?
It had sausage.
Mm.
It was like all the meat.
Yeah. Okay.
Loaded.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. And this is how we bring things back.
There was a shrimp. There was a shrimp pasta.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name. What was that?
The shrimp fra diavolo.
Oh yes,
Angel hair pasta, shrimp, spicy.
I
with a little
mean,
basil.
it's still technically my birthday week, so I mean, if you want to,
we'll make that for you.
have
Come
the
in.
special this week.
We can make that for you.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yes, and that we have specials, and that should be back on the menu. That's my favorite too.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
see, I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
Great question. Keep them coming. You
Yeah.
never know what we can. What we can get going
darn
over
it.
here.
Bring the pizzas back Sundays. No, I'm joking. Yeah, this Cajun,
Wednesday night wine down with the flatbreads.
Cajun shrimp cakes. I want to try that.
The what?
I'm gonna close this because I want this.
The New
shrimp
Orleans
Cajun shrimp cakes.
Oh yeah.
Shoot.
We do have a cornbread because when you mentioned that, we have a New Orleans shrimp that's blackened shrimp and this really delicious sauce with cornbread. It's one of our signature appetizers. It's delicious.
You ain't got none of that in the bag.
No, we're closed today, so we were trying to think of what we're closed. We're both closed, right, on Mondays. So kitchen's not open, the ovens aren't going. So that just happened to be easy, and it's cold.
All right. Well, while we finish up our food, we're gonna go on a commercial break. We will be back.
Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix.
In winter. That chicken salad was
Right?
it took us to spring and summer.
It's in that wardrobe.
Right. Everybody loved it. Thanks for sharing that with
thank you.
us.
Yes, thank you.
I think I did have that chicken salad at what event was that? That was with the LGBT chamber.
Yes.
Yep. I can't remember, but yeah, I had it. I think that was my first time
out
there.
in the kitchen.
Out in the kitchen.
Mhm.
Yep. That was at Discovery World,
Yeah.
I think. Yep.
Every July.
Every July, okay. So I want to talk about some fun facts or kitchen secrets like that people just don't know or understand, or just some fun things that go on in the kitchen. Like, how do you all keep your energy, and or even just running just service in general, keeping your energy, smiling, even though that can be hit or miss sometimes depending on where you at and how busy a place is. But any fun facts or kitchen secrets from like prep to
Ones that we
plating?
can
Ones that you can share.
Yeah. We don't want to give it all away.
You don't have to give it all, but
I thought it was hilarious early in my culinary career. I was blessed enough to work with a lot of great chefs, Justin Carlisle, Kurt Fugel, Jarvis Williams, Jackie Woods.
yes.
We were all under the same roof at
Where's
Umami Moto.
Jarvis now.
Jarvis retired from cooking.
Okay.
He's in construction right now.
Okay.
But
okay.
Jarvis was actually a really, really, really good chef. And I hate he hung his coat up,
I
but
know.
he helped me a lot. And so we had this thing where, well, they used to bully me. And so they would wait till it was really busy and try to distract me. At Umami Moto, Justin transitioned me to doing sushi. So it was kind of nervous. I was nervous at first because it wasn't a lot of, Black people doing sushi. So people would look at me crazy when they walked in and see me back there doing sushi. And I remember the first day I was nervous. I wanted to do right. And Justin went in my ear. He was in my ear talking about me, like trying to make me laugh to take my mind on it. But I think that's how we get through the kitchen. We talk about each other. So we'll rib each other, talk about each other, just to kind of keep that pressure off of us. But it also helps us to flow and develop that bond, because I think that's what you need in the kitchen. You got to have some type of bond. And because somebody can walk in and not have so great a day, understanding how to leave it at the door, and just walking. Because I mean, if you're not in your right mindset, it's going to affect your cooking, and then the customer's not getting your best. So just maintaining that. So I would say the secret was ribbon and talking about each other.
Ribbon.
No pun.
If you don't know what ribbon is, it's talking about someone, comparing them to things.
That's right.
I have a rib shack, but a food one. That should be a comedy show. The Rib Shack. You offer them ribs and then just start ribbing.
Yeah. We got some great ideas tonight, y'all. Anything on your end?
Oh, I agree. Just
Yeah.
keeping it light, because it's contagious. If you're bringing it in and you're
Right.
having a dark day, everyone can feel it.
Yeah.
In the front of house too. Where Moxie is so small. It's like if you're not feeling it, go home, because it's going to permeate the
ripple effect,
entire
yeah.
the entire kitchen and the front of the house. But yeah, we keep it light. We laugh. I come back there sometimes and there's like 2 tickets up and I'm, Damien's in the weeds. We're
Yeah.
laughing about that, or when he really is in the weeds, and it's like, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
trying to keep
know-
it light.
Yeah, I know there's not many off days, and even off days aren't off days.
Yeah.
But how do you engage with each other outside of work? I know some people go to sports games, or tailgate, or do team stuff. Do you all do any of that? Do you have time for that, or is it mostly just work?
God, no. As an owner, I try not to hang out too much with my staff.
Okay.
Because then they develop a different perception of you, and they tend to try to get over. And I'll do things like during Christmas time, we'll all go out and I'll treat them to something or give them something. But as far as like the hanging out, when I was an employee, we would, but as an owner, you got to kind of draw the line,
Mm-hmm.
because then they'll try to take advantage and stuff like that. No, you just got to
Absolutely.
have certain boundaries. So most
Yeah.
owners hanging around other owners or conversating with other owners, and we
Mhm.
kind of helping each other out, and stuff like that. So
Yeah. No, I understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Second, that we can't really be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a fine line there, and I don't want them to think I'm prying into their personal lives. Like
Mhm.
you guys go out and enjoy, and I'm not going to ask where you went because it's not my business.
Yeah.
But we do once a year. We went to Hamburger Mary's last year and did Karen Valentine did our
Mhm.
bingo,
Okay.
drag bingo, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
And we
See,
had
stuff like
prizes.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
that's what I was kind of getting
It
at.
was a
Just
good
like,
time. Yeah.
holiday stuff,
Oh,
or
yeah.
not like every day,
No.
but just little things that you might do just to show your appreciation and
for sure.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, we did the Crab Shack, one of those, and
Mhm.
I bought everybody food. We talked. I just kind of told them about plans for the next year, and we just kind of regroup like that. I think that's as much as I tell them, and then I'll just let them hang out because I know they want to talk about me, so I'll give them a chance to talk, and I just leave, and they can say whatever they want. I used to care, but I don't care no more.
Same.
Because I'm the
It's
one
none of our
paying
business.
bills and making sure y'all checks get cashed. So I get it. If
Right.
they ain't talking about you, you ain't doing something right. So
That's true.
We are having a front of house meeting on Monday. We try to do those like once the entire group, but
Mhm.
Monday's front of house in particular. So I'm going to take all these notes from everyone, and we're going to be talking about this. This is helpful.
See?
Yeah.
So helpful. Well, we have about 20 minutes. I want to talk about some upcoming food events in the city or new restaurants. I know Thursday, February 1st, Chef Jenny Lee of Cayuta, Milwaukee will host a Korean community dinner at the Milwaukee Public Market. I think it's a cooking class, and you get to learn about her Korean dishes and cook and eat. So you can learn more about that at the MilwaukeePublicMarket.org under upcoming classes. And then Bake Dreams Bakery and Cafe is hosting a gospel karaoke brunch on Saturday, February 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sherman Phoenix. And I want to give a huge shout out to the Sherman Phoenix for being a Flavor Fix sponsor, as well as Brownstone Social Lounge. We got all our people in the house supporting Flavor Fix. Have you all heard of any new restaurants opening or any other events coming up in the city? Are you all doing anything? Got any specials or any specific themed nights that we can share?
I would say Bronzeville. They're open Thursday through Sunday. They do brunch on Sundays. But that's one of those places you gotta be a little patient with. They still wrinkling some things out, but the food is really, really good.
Okay. What did you get? What have you had?
Well, I've been really helping the owner out. We kind of bumped heads, and I'm helping him out. Excuse me, with some questions he has. And just really pouring into him what I know. So getting his kitchen together, staff together.
I love to hear that.
I can, and that's what we need. When she talked about sustainability, we need to do more of that with each other, because we try to do things solo too much, and you'll only get so far. When you have information I can utilize, and vice versa, can help each other out. Can't be worried about who doing better than who and all. Stuff like that. I also think we need more like farmers markets, like like it's a lot of abandoned places here in the city. You could build produce and stuff like that. Like I'm tired of, no disrespect, like seeing fried food places pop up in our neighborhoods, and right next to that gonna be a lot of dialysis places because everybody getting diabetes from eating and stuff all the time. And so just needing to kind of reprogram ourselves and support one another, health wise, mentally, whatever. So that's just what I'm doing. But sorry for getting off topic. Bronzeville,
it's all right.
They do Sunday brunch, gospel brunch on Sundays. They're open Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's really, really good experience, good ambiance, good decor. It's really nice up in there. So
nice. You know of anything? CC?
It's not. I don't think it's new, quote unquote, anymore, but it's on my list. Is it Carbone or Carbone Steakhouse? The one across the street
Milwaukee
from
Street.
Yeah, across the street from Carnivore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
No.
I don't. So it's on my list. Like I'm just kind of like you said. The beginning is a
working out
little
them
bit
kinks.
rough.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to wait until they, work out some kinks based off of conversations I've had with people and opinions I've trust because they usually know what they're talking about. And then I know another restaurant. They just opened a second location in Crossroads Collective is Mex Avenue, Tulsa. So I do want to check them out as well. I've been wanting to check out the main location in Tulsa, but Crossroads is a little closer to me, so I'll probably end up checking that out soon.
Trying to think what else. I can't think of any off the top of my head. What about y'all? Have you heard of anything new? No.
Well, people are willing to commute. There's Chicago Restaurant Week.
Oh yeah, Chicago Restaurant Week is coming up, or no, it's going on right now. I think it started on Friday. I actually was in Chicago for my birthday this past weekend, and I was at Bar Sienna in the West Loop, and their restaurant week menu was pretty good. They had beef meatballs and their house chopped salad that was really good. Now this is an Italian place. I ordered steak. I kind of knew better, but it should also be done right. So I was a little disappointed with how it was made because I had it remade twice. Or was it? No, it was wrong twice. And I have it remade twice. After the second time, I was just like, all right, whatever.
The meatballs.
But the meatballs were fantastic. The meatballs and the salad was fantastic. And it was a good vibe. Everybody else enjoyed their food, though. But they stuck with the theme, right? So...
have any of you been to Virtue in Chicago?
I have.
That's,
oh my God, it's so good.
That's on my bucket list. It's good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I've had the lamb chops. I had chicken. I think he has a good he has greens. I don't like greens. But everyone else loves that. I've had a fish. I can't remember what it was, but
it was blackened.
Yeah. I've had a few things on his menu and it's just outstanding every time. The service. Can we talk about the service? The service is phenomenal at Virtue. Top tier in Hyde Park. And I really have a good time. Their staff.
Upset you've been there twice. A lot of
times. Yeah, I've been there once. 3 times.
Really?
Actually.
So I've been to Hyde Park. Speaking of Chicago, I've been to Ja Grill, which was probably one of my favorite Jamaican places. That whole community is really nice in that area,
and they're adding a lot in Hyde Park. Where is that? Is that over there?
Ja Grill. It was a Jamaican place right next to the hotel.
Okay.
In that little circle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say Ja Grill?
Ja Grill. Yeah. Hopefully they still open. But no, it was really good. You may get a little, and you got to take it to consideration. It's in the hood, but you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
But it's a really good Jamaican place. Really, really good. I had a lot of stuff from them, and they did everything good, and it's fast.
So what's a comfort food, like one of your favorite comfort foods that's always gonna lift your spirits?
Dressing.
Whoa,
I will eat dressing all the time if you gave me like the opportunity. Like, I don't know what it is. And it's crazy because like growing up, I did not like dressing like that. I think maybe like college years, I started being like, man, this is actually like amazing. And now I will eat it all the time if I can.
Yeah.
So both of my grandmothers have passed away, but my grandmother did tell my sister how to make it. So I like try to be hands-on with her and like get the recipe down too. I ain't there yet, but like I kind of don't want to get there yet because I feel like when I do, I'm gonna be making it all the time, and I know that's not healthy. But yeah, that's my comfort food.
Anne-Marie,
let me go.
Or
mine bogus.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
I'm scared.
You want to know now?
Yes.
So, ramen noodles. Chili flavored.
Chicken flavored.
Chili. I had a lot of stuff to it. And,
put us up on game.
So Okay. So I wasn't always a good person. I mean, made the right decisions. So I did some time in prison. But I'm better now. And so
Clearly.
used to be called a hookup, right? So it'd be chili.
Yes.
It'd be ramen. So how you know about hookup? Wait a minute. So okay, no, we don't come back to that one. But it was chili, the chili packet of ramen. Actual can of chili, with beans. Then it would be like cheese crackers, and then it would be like hot sauce, like. And so it was called a hookup, and because the meals there were horrible, you had to eat that. But you like the sky's limit. You could put cheese sauce in there, all type of stuff. Like it was. What was your version? I want to know.
I wasn't making it.
Kind of the same things. I do like tuna in it, and
tuna. Okay.
Yeah, kind of whatever's available. Like people think chefs eat these lavish meals at home. Frozen pizza, ramen.
What's your go-to frozen pizza?
Lots of matzo.
Lots of matzo is good.
Lots of matzo is good. There's some new local brands that's pretty good.
Screaming Sicilian is good.
Lots of matzo probably number one.
The thin crust. Yeah. What'd you say?
Lots of matzo probably my go-to.
What's yours? The home run in frozen pizza.
Home run is definitely good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm a deep dish girl. I really like deep dish pizza. And so they have this Motor City deep dish frozen. And it is very good. It's from Detroit. It's in a blue box. They didn't have it. They only carried it at Walmart for like years. Okay. And I don't really shop at Walmart like that, but now they have it at like other grocery stores like Meijer. But that's probably my favorite pizza. And Jack's Self-Rising, because Jack's is just Jack's.
Anne Marie said, "Oh,
I'm getting hungry." Yeah,
I think it's at Walmart now, or Woodman's. I mean,
Woodman's,
Detroit.
The Motor City. Have it, yeah.
It's called Motor City. I'm taking notes.
Yeah, Motor City, something like that.
Since our pizza place closed, I'm kind of missing the pizza.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's why when y'all have y'all team meeting this week, you talk about them specials.
We will.
Yeah. Oh, you got any comfort food, Dominique? Any go-to comfort food? What's yours? That's the point.
Ramen.
What is it?
A Reynolds pasty.
Oh,
pasties is.
That ain't even bad.
That's not bad.
That's a classic.
That's classic.
Those are always in the freezer.
Yep. With the nacho cheese.
Oh, I haven't tried with that.
Nacho cheese.
I use A1 steak sauce.
On the pasty?
That's good. It's really good. Or ketchup. Yeah.
Kind of mad they're not in stores anymore.
They are.
They are? Still?
Where you get it from?
Yeah.
That's why.
Pick and
they left Woodman's for Metro Market. They used to be in
Oh.
Woodman's. We don't see them no more. It's some off-brand. Nobody get no more.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I go there. I did that. Cereal is my thing.
What kind?
It's so easy.
It is
pour
easy.
a big old bowl of cereal at the end of the night, coming home late from the restaurant. It's like, can't even look at that food anymore at Moxie. It's like, I just want a big old bowl of cereal. Frosted mini wheats. It's my go-to.
That's your go-to.
I don't want to outdate nobody. Who was born in the 80s?
Yeah.
60s.
Best cereal. Promise you. Everything was Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Mr. T was Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch was Captain.
Peanut butter
popular cereal
crunch.
was Captain Crunch.
My favorite was Cookie Crisp.
Cookie Crisp.
I loved Cookie Crisp.
Probably. No, you said nah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, not all berries, but the main one with the berries in it. Yeah.
I like Golden Grams. Golden Grams was good. Smacks was all right.
I never liked that. I never liked. Well, growing up, I did like Frosted Flakes, which is terrible. I eat right now. I eat Honey Bunches of Oats.
Oh,
okay.
That's pretty much it.
That's
now that's the healthy. I'm old.
I used to be mad when I was all the cereal left.
But if I have that craving, I'm definitely going for the peanut butter crunch.
Oh yeah.
I've been on a cinnamon toast crunch kick lately. Like I got the cereal, I got the oatmeal, I got their seasoning. Like they have a cinnamon toast crunch seasoning, and it's so good. I put it on everything. I put it on my oatmeal this morning. Like I put it on my pancakes. Like it's very, very good. Like you should buy it. This is not a sponsored post.
Oh,
You might like
man.
our oatmeal.
Right.
Ooh, this do sound good. Yes, the yep.
So as we wrap up, and this has been fantastic. Thank you all for joining today. Um, what's one thing you want to leave with our listeners, either from a dining perspective or a tip, pro tip for aspiring, folks wanting to get into culinary or open a restaurant? Anything you want to share that that you hold close?
Make sure whatever decision you make in life as a career is your passion. Don't waste any money at school if it's just something somebody else told you to do, and not what you aspire to do. And then find your purpose out of that. So for restaurateurs, I would say, if you can, own your building. That's your opening, because triple net will come and hunt you down every year. So that's my tidbit. Ownership. It's a good retirement plan when you get done.
Yeah, I second the ownership. We don't own the building we're in. I wish we did.
Mm-hmm.
But also, yeah, do what you love. And if you can, if you're going to pursue a life as a restaurant owner, try to work in a restaurant first and make sure you really like it. Because if you don't, you'll save a lot of money in the long run. Don't try to open it first and then see if you like it. Try to do it as much as you can in a restaurant, in the front of house, back of house, and then go from there and come up with a solid business plan.
Nice. Any travel tips, pro tips, tips or tricks, secrets?
I mean, I really just want to put on Milwaukee like food scene, like just go out and explore and go support local restaurants. Obviously, chains are easy, sometimes a little bit cheaper, but like supporting local, it just, it helps, what's the word? Sustain like the community. It's also helping support other small business owners who do a lot for their communities too. And our food scene genuinely is like really good here. And I just feel like a lot of people sleep on it, but there's a lot out there to offer.
Yeah.
And just take a vacation. Like,
take a vacation.
Go on a trip. Like, I mean, I would love for you to book with me, but like, not even, and it doesn't have to be anything, extravagant. Like, you could go somewhere and have a staycation for 2 days. That's honestly what I did for my birthday. My birthday was last week. I was going to Maui and the trip got canceled. So I just went to Potawatomi and got a hotel room for 2 days. I ain't leave. I got room service, like DoorDash, and it was just good. Like, and that for me is just a little mini vacation because I didn't have to do nothing. So vacations don't always have to be extravagant. Just go experience something new.
Yeah. What day last week?
Oh, Wednesday, the 17th.
Mine was Monday.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
All right, we're going to do a happy birthday. We got to, they bought them, so I want to use them. All right. Happy birthday. That was terrible, but I love it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining Flavor Fix with Samantha Starr. We'll see y'all next Monday, 5 p.m.
Good evening, listeners, and welcome to Respectful Disagreements, the hour-long journey where perspectives collide and conversations ignite. I'm your co-host, Joel Peterson, and tonight we're delving deep into the heart of some of today's most pressing and provocative topics. In one corner, we have myself, a conservative black male, and in my other corner, my lovely co-host.
You have me. This is Shahree. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening? I am the other half of this fabulous show. I am a liberal black woman who lives here, born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and here to share my perspectives and views with my good co-host.
Absolutely.
So the new year has started. We have rolled in, and with all the snow and everything, I know I've been at home, relaxing, chilling with my children, hanging out. I've been able to get some more family time in, especially on these snow days. How's your snow days been going?
Actually, they've been pretty well. You know, I have myself and all my kids in the house, so
You got a gaggle of them,
it's
so.
not a snow day. It's not a vacation for me. But you know, it's cool being off and being with family like that. So yeah,
Good. So part of the things that I've seen going on, we talk a lot about family structure. In our last one, in our last show, we talked about having a child and whether or not a person, male, female, who would like to have a child, if they are not with someone, a special someone in their life, that they shouldn't have one at all. And I think that's a good segue to kind of our conversation this week.
Sure.
Which is kind of the other side of the spectrum of child support and alimony. Give us your thoughts, sir.
So, I mean, it's a very convoluted topic with many layers in it. But just coming out off the gate, I honestly don't believe in child support or alimony.
Here's a hot take, y'all. Here it is.
So I'm okay with being the villain on the show. I'm okay with that. But I feel like, it's kind of rooted and kind of based in kind of reality. I don't think that child support or alimony or any type of situation like that is beneficial to our society.
To our society. You mean the children who are put in the middle of an adult situation who have nothing to do with it should not receive some sort of support from either of the responsible parties that allowed them to be here?
So I feel
financial support at that.
Sure. I feel like like I said, there's so many layers to this, but my honest thoughts in this situation is that people use the government or the legal system or to kind of mask really bad decisions and taking away personal accountability and responsibility to a lot of situations. And so one of the things that just pops in my head is like, I need us to be able to understand that we need to be able to pick better partners.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, out of all the people that are in my circle, right? Or in all the people that I connect with or build with on a day-by-day basis, if any of their relationships were to break up,
okay,
I am 1,000% sure that they would take care of their child, whether there was something legal in place or not.
Sure.
And so
Here, let me, I just want to stop you for a second.
Yeah.
Let's go back. Let's for our listeners, maybe not everybody understands the difference between child support and alimony.
Sure.
So let's start. Let's just back up. So as we get into these scenarios and situations, we can distinct from the two of them because there is a difference.
Yeah.
And both can go together,
Sure.
or they can be two separate things.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to that.
So alimony is if you're in a long-term, like 10 plus year relationship, if you're not married, or if you are actually married, then the person that if there's an income discrepancy,
there you
within
go. I need you to point that
Yeah,
out. Income discrepancy.
If there's an income discrepancy in how much the individuals make, then the person that makes the least can file for spousal support.
Sure.
And that falls under alimony.
Right. And spousal support is for the spouse.
For the spouse, right?
That's right. For the spouse.
So either you can get that in a lump sum, or you can get that paid out monthly.
Right.
And then child support is, kind of
support for the child.
Support for the household.
Support for the household in which the child lives.
There we go. Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, that's a clear distinction.
I absolutely.
It's a clear distinction.
We both agree on that. So in these examples that you were saying, that you feel like, if again, these are your friends, maybe you got some great friends that's tonight, but we're talking about
high character friends.
Wonderful. Not everybody's your friend, so that means there's some folks out there,
right,
who might need a little tap on the shoulder, might need a little additional motivation and help, i.e. some actual real signed document papers that says this is what you must do, because this is the situation you are leaving.
And in that, scenario that we're talking about, people who need a tap on the shoulder to take care of your child, you shouldn't be sleeping with them in the first place.
Well, I mean, so that's another radio show discussion.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
We live in a world where, unfortunately, that is the case.
So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
So when a person has a child with, this person that doesn't have the character to take care of their own child.
Well, let's just say what. So
right.
let's start off from the beginning. You got together.
Sure.
Everything was wonderful. Great. Roses. Oh, goodness. Honeymoon phase.
Absolutely.
You're loving each other, holding hands, kicking cans. Love. Just all in love. Things get real. Get pregnant, have a baby, maybe year 1. It's a little friction. Year 2, goodness, a lot of pressure. And, just we're not making it work. It's not working out. And we realize that our disagreements and our inability to make it work is causing enough commotion and disruption in the household that this is not healthy for anybody.
Agreed. And that happens all the time. And that's nobody's fault.
And so let's just say we realize that. We decide maybe counseling, little therapy, family therapy.
Are you talking about a marriage, or are you talking about just people just getting together?
This either way.
Okay.
I'm talking long-term relationship.
I don't know too many people going to counseling for just boyfriend, girlfriend stuff.
Long-term relationships.
Sure.
Marriage. They trying to exhaust all possibilities.
Right.
But the final conclusion is that it is best that we go our separate ways. And what I hear you saying is, then a person, one of the two, has to trust that the other one is going to continue to show up, provide for the household in which the child is staying predominantly the time in by themselves.
Absolutely.
And
if
what
I
happens
can't
if
trust that,
oh, then you
I
just
should not
have
have
lost.
slept with you.
Oh, so then the other person's just out, because it's like, well, we can't make this work. I'm stressed. I can't do this. I'm out.
What? I don't feel like we're talking about the same thing. Like
I know situations in which one of the adults in the situation said, you know what, I tried to make this work. We have been in this case that I'm thinking of, a marriage for a very long time. We have tried to make it work. Our children are in their teens, latter teens, and you know what? I'm tired. You know what? I ain't saying it's right. I definitely understand, but I ain't saying it's right. This individual said, "Nah, I've done all I can do. I'm out of here." That was it.
So that still falls under what I'm saying.
But
that's a character issue.
But I'm saying that person is still responsible. There's still responsibilities that are there that they left behind. They're children.
Character issue.
But character issues ain't gonna pay these bills. So I'm gonna need to be able to go on down to the courthouse and fill out some papers and say, I need your help because this person decided that it was vacation time. And it's not. There's some children that still need to be raised who still need things. There are still financial responsibilities for these children.
So again, I don't know like how else I can explain it. Like I don't like I understand what you're saying. I am just saying that for a person to have a child and not take care of them,
I agree.
That is a character flaw. And the fact that you chose to sleep with someone that has these character flaws,
I should
that's
just go.
Your
That's
fault.
My fault. So therefore, even though we together have had children, I still have. So because it's my fault, I gotta bear the burden and just suck it up and go and just sit down and try to do the best I can with these kids.
So when we talk about when we talk about what it takes or what should go into the fact of starting a sexual relationship with somebody.
Well, I hear what you're saying there, but like again, every scenario comes together differently. Like I just gave one. It was beautiful in the beginning. Like
that still has nothing to do with the fact that so let me go back. There are very few con artists in the world. It takes a high intellect person to be a con artist. So when people say, I
said at least a good one.
Yeah, right. A good one, right? It takes most people, you're talking about like 95% of the population, they don't have the intellect to be a con artist.
I'm not.
So what happens is when people say, "Oh, this person showed me their representative," or "This person tricked me," or da 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 da. No, what really happened was he or she showed her character to you in different ways, and you did not, and you ignored them because you were so in love, or you were so whatever the case is. You had these blinders on, and the things that they showed you, you didn't think they were real, or you didn't think they applied to you.
So couples can't fall out of love.
That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Yes, it does.
No,
absolutely,
it does not. Whether I like you or not, whether I fall out of love with you or not, has nothing to do with the fact that I have a child with you.
Right. But then some people, again, cannot distinguish the two, right? It's like if this relationship is over.
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying. No matter what, okay, we fall out. We decide that we fall out of love. I'm going to stay on this side of the town. You stay on this side of the town. Or I'm going to move to the next state. I'm still going to take care of my child. But you have to understand, and this is where it always gets dicey, is the definition of take care of your child.
Sure.
Is different for everybody.
So,
but we're talking about child support.
So then,
and or alimony.
Do you think that those conversations need to be had before you sleep with a person?
So it's going to be different. I'm going to say sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So then,
but
then
at
it
the
goes
same
back
time,
to that's your fault.
But so okay, so it's my fault. So therefore, I'm just out. What about situations where you have couples who were married for, except maybe a couple kids married, And because of, again, the dynamics of the world, which typically, and I stress typically, in a male-female relationship, the male ends up being the breadwinner. And therefore, sometimes, again,
2024?
In some scenarios,
okay,
that's still a thing.
Sure.
I'm not saying everywhere. I agree. Tides are shifting.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, however you look at it.
Okay.
Whoever the breadwinner is. And because of that, and the times that we in, childcare costs a lot. Childcare is a lot. Sometimes so much so that it is cheaper for one person to stay at home.
Especially if you have multiple kids.
Especially if you have multiple kids that are in daycare.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Conversations that need to be had before. But
you have a person, and as a couple, as a unit, you've decided that is the best that we should do financially for our family.
Sure.
So somebody's going to put their career on hold, put their dreams on hold for the betterment of the family and the children. So now fast forward.
I just got a problem with putting on hold, but keep going. It's a trade. It's not a on hold. It's a decision.
It is on hold. If I'm not furthering education or furthering part-time work, whatever, to keep up the skills, to further the skills, then it is on hold. It's on ice.
I feel like that's compartmentalizing life. And I feel like you can't do that when it comes to
that's so beautiful. When you go back to the workforce, they're going to be like, what did you do for the last 10 years? You'd be like, I stayed at home and raised kids. They'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Next candidate, please. Right? So I'm not saying that's right. Please don't do that. That is a skill. Right? But it happens. I've heard it happen, right? Yeah. So there's an imbalance if that family unit, someone decides that this ain't working, especially if the person who decides that it ain't working and I'm gonna decide to go live on the other side of town, or I want to move it's cold in Wisconsin, I want to move to Arizona, whatever, that's going to look different. And again, people's definition of take care of my family is also, and leaving that up to decision of what that person thinks is different. If there's a standard, if there's a court system that says this is how much you make, this is how many kids you have, this is what it is, then that sets the standard, as opposed to it being, I think taking care of is, sending a Christmas present every year with, some clothes, some shoes, and $100 for each kid.
That's a character flaw.
I'm not saying that it isn't. I think it's a character flaw too. But what I hear you saying is that person still gets to say, well, I'm taking care of my kids.
That's a character flaw. Like there's no
but some
grown
people are
adult.
Argue,
there's no grown adult.
Some people are going to argue like, what you mean? I ain't taking care of my kids.
There's no grown adult.
Yes, there is.
No, I'm qualifying my statement, right? There's no grown adult that has any type of relationship with their child that would honestly think that buying a pair of shoes and a Christmas card is taking care of your child.
So I'm just going to dig back in the crates to the times. And I used to work at a very popular shoe store here in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That used to be at date myself at Capitol Court.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of folks came in with I'm gonna buy a jumpsuit and these new J's and a 6T because I'm taking care of my kids.
I don't have a problem I'm just saying I guess what I'm saying is no one thinks that doing that is taking care, like doing that only is taking, like, okay, you buy shoes, you buy clothes, you buy this, you buy that, right? Whatever the case is. But again, now we're talking about mature.
I need to call some folks and see if they listening.
Now we're talking about mature
but adult. Not everybody is.
So then why are you sleeping with them?
Because you act like people don't grow and change in their
that's still not a
change.
problem. That's still not
Yes,
my
it
problem
is.
or anybody else's problem.
It is the problem.
The fact that
if you're in a relationship with these people.
The fact that you decided to have unprotected sex
goodness.
is not that's not a societal problem. That's your decision that you decided to get into.
But you are just making it like people come together, right? And here we are. We dated for 5 years. We get married on year 6. Year 10, we don't have kids. And by year 15, your relationship changed. Some people for the best, some people for not so much. But if that happens, people grow and evolve. And sometimes they can grow and evolve to not so great people. I didn't see that back then. So you're trying to say that like that? Nah, people again grow, evolve, some for the better, and some not so much. Something may change them. Whatever experiences that happen, it happens. But to assume that someone should know that character of someone 10, 5, 10, 15 years later is not possible. It's not possible.
I disagree.
I don't think so. In our first show, you even talked about you and your spouse as you're coming to the end of being empty nesters, growing together. Yeah, y'all might. Some people grow apart. Some people, after the kids are gone, start talking about what you want to do in this after phase and realize that I don't want to be with you after this phase.
Sure.
So. But you didn't see that. But you didn't see that those years ago.
But hold on. So here we go. So now we're getting to something a little bit deeper than what you're saying. So actually, let me first qualify what we were talking about.
Sure.
All right. Okay. Because I don't want to. I think I'm speaking in general, and I'm also speaking like I'm blanketing.
Yeah,
a multi-layered topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me pull back some.
Okay.
If a person, if you and I are in a relationship, okay, and one of us is abusing another person,
okay,
and what I call abuse, that could be spiritual abuse, that could be physical abuse,
mm-hmm.
that could be verbal abuse,
mm-hmm.
that could be emotional abuse. Or if a person is cheating, okay? If those things exist and that person wants to leave a marriage or leave a long-term committed relationship, then what I am saying doesn't apply to them.
Flag on the play.
Okay.
Because now you're telling me, so I hear what you're saying.
Sure.
I absolutely agree with you.
But that's not their fault.
But it's still a character flaw. So you just argue
sure
that, oh, well, if they decide they leave and they think that buying shoes is taking care, then that's your fault. But it's also not my fault that you turned abusive, because I didn't see the abuse when we got together. I didn't see that you was going to be whatever. So flag on the play.
So I feel like that leads into what you were just about to, what you were kind of opening the doors for us to get into talking about, right? I don't think it's a flag on the play. I don't think that. All right, because we can go to the review booth and look it up. But no, I don't think it's a flag on the play, because that is crossing the line, right? So if I'm abusing you or you're abusing me, that is crossing a line.
I don't disagree with that.
That says this union has to stop. Has to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody could get either mentally injured or physically injured.
Sure.
And they might not recover from either the mental or the physical stuff, which would in turn hurt the child. So
it is mentally hurtful to be in a relationship and get to a point where you have to separate ways. It is also very mentally and physically hurtful when the other person doesn't live up to their responsibilities. Therefore, child support, I should say alimony and or in both ways, I guess, child support exist because of that. Because of this situation, right? You said abuse. I get it. But I don't understand why the character flaw of turning abusive is all you're putting that in a separate category as opposed to like I mean I'm guessing something is there where people are like, you know, I guess there's amicable splits, right? People are just like, yeah, we just
and I don't believe in that either. That's why I feel like that's where I
just want people to suffer.
No, that's why I feel like no. So I feel like that's the door you were trying to go into, and I was like, hold on, let me qualify this a little bit.
Okay,
no, you have to be quiet. No, I was just that's what I was trying to kind of get to, because if someone takes a vow and says I'm gonna marry you, right? Unless it is what I just talked about, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, and or a person is like constantly cheating, right? Mm-hmm. Or cheating, or whatever that is.
Is this marriage only, or is this also long-term relationships?
I feel like long-term relationships as well, right? But the thing with long-term relationships, you don't actually make a vow.
Right. That's why I'm asking.
So I feel like there's a little bit of distinction with the marriage, because you're literally making a vow. You're entering into a covenant with another person with the marriage. And in that, unless those things are happening, you shouldn't you shouldn't break up. I don't believe in the whole we fell out of love. I don't believe in the whole, you know, all of those. I don't believe in that. If they're not abusing you, if they're not, you know, whatever the case, all those things, mm-hmm. Like, I don't believe in that. I don't understand how a person can be like, till death do us part, and then be like, nah, I was joking.
Well,
nah, I'm kidding.
Let us know what you think. Give us a call at 414-444-5250. Let us know. We'll be back.
Allstate agent providing protection options that fit your life is something that they take well. Personally, Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't, because helping you get the coverage you want with the savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Milwaukee Allstate agent Cindy Johnson at 414-445-2558. That's 414-445-2558 today for a free quote. Home, auto, renters, condo, and more. Sydney, Nancy, and Lyndon can't wait to meet you.
Subject to terms and conditions and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
Milwaukee, it's back! The 11th annual Milwaukee Blues Festival, starring King George, Tucker, Pokey Bear, Lenny Williams, Jigwan, and Fiona Seeley. You better stand up in Southern Soul Blues at its best. The 11th annual Milwaukee Blues Festival, Friday, April 19th at the Riverside Theater. King George. This train gonna keep on rolling. Tucker.
the situations around it, whether you agree or disagree. My co-host here thinks no, we should just do away with it. It is a responsibility of the two responsible parties to figure out what that situation looked like, as opposed to having the courts decide it for them. And so we kind of left off with you describing and talking about relationship situations. Obviously, do not stay in a relationship if you are being abused in any sort of way, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental. That is terms to get out. But I want you to expand on that.
And cheating as well.
And cheating. However, everything else is work outable. You got to work it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
even if you're unhappy,
even if you
have grown apart, maybe you got together and got married when you were in high school, sweethearts.
Wonderful.
High school. And so you've been together, you've had children, and now high school sweethearts, now you in your 30s, 35, and the things that you coulda, shoulda, woulda did maybe when you was in your 20s and stuff, you was married and having kids and doing real adult things. And you realize that now that you have grown older, maybe now your kids are, grade school or middle school, high school, but one of the two in the relationship maybe not be as happy anymore. And so it's time to split ways. And you're saying, figure it out, work it out. What, until the kids are grown adults?
No, figure it out and work it out.
Forever.
Yes.
But we ain't happy.
Yeah. Well, so I believe in the institution of marriage. I believe in the sanctity of marriage, right? And I believe that when you take these vows of to death do us part, I feel like you should mean those. It doesn't say, I feel like then if that's the case, then enter into your marriage and be like, until we're not happy anymore.
Understanding that not everyone, people may still go through the performance and get married, whether they go down to a courthouse, whether they do it in a church, whether they go to a park, where they go to one of these fabulous venues that are here. Not everyone, some people write their own vows.
Sure.
Some people, not everybody, because I feel, again, knowing, I know you coming from a very biblical standpoint, and not everyone is on those same grounds when deciding that marriage is the decision for them.
Sure. So if you have taken those vows, if you have taken the to death do us part, and you actually said that, I believe you should mean it. I honestly believe you should mean it. And so again, I'm going to reiterate, if you are in a relationship and you are being abusive in any way, that is a reason to get out of your marriage. If you're in a marriage and someone is a habitual cheater or cheating or whatever the case may be, and betraying your trust, that is a reason to get out of your marriage. Every other situation, you should work it out.
What if the couple is not married? They were a long-term relationship. Excuse me. And maybe it's not even long. Maybe, they're only, again, maybe they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
What do you mean long-term? Like, qualify that. Oh, sorry, quantify that. Sorry.
Boy, there's probably a scientific definition somewhere about it. But I mean, I consider a long-term relationship, boy,
you living together and you got kids together?
Yeah.
And all the things?
5, 7, 10 years plus.
Yeah. I feel like if you can get, if you fall under the category of common law marriage,
that's under, so that's going to be less than 10.
If you fall under that, if you qualify for common law marriage, then yeah, you're in the same situation as married people.
Okay. Well, at that point, yes. And so what I hear you saying is let's just say we pass that, whether it's marriage or long-term relationship. I guess for me, the whole that it's your fault if the person you have chosen to spend your life with decides that they don't want to be in that relationship anymore. But there are still financial obligations to take care of. There's a house.
Yep.
There are the children. Children need things.
Sure.
Need, not want things.
Sure. Agreed.
That there is financial responsibility there. What is the
so I'm
to make folks still
so
do that, because not everybody does, and I agree. It takes a very mature person to say, you know what, I'm not in this relationship anymore, whether or I'm not in this marriage anymore. And again, I'm going to live on the other side of town. I'm going to move to another state, but I'm still going to financially and to the best of my ability be visibly present in the lives of my children for a long time. Not everybody is.
So
it's probably why you moving apart. So this is why.
Okay. But I still, once again, believe that when we enter into sexual relationships, when we enter into that,
people grow, people change, Joel.
When we enter into sexual relationships, you better know your partner.
People grow and people change. We all do. We all do.
Sure, people do grow, but very few people change their core values. Yeah, they might grow and they might evolve on some peripheral things, but their core values of who they are.
Yeah, and one of the values you can have your core values. I mean, I just want to have them to myself now. I don't want to be.
That doesn't change. That rarely changes.
Yeah,
it rarely changes. I'm sure we could come up with some examples, of course, but we're talking about the majority. Like the majority of people's core values, they don't change. It's who they are. It's who they are.
But what I also hear, it's subject to that person's then definition of I'm taken care of. Again, it could, for one person, they could say, you know what, I think taking care of is, you know what, I'm going to make sure that my 3 kids are good. So I'm going to send $100 every month per kid, $300 I'm taken care of. Where someone else might say, nah, you know, obviously I live there. I care about them. Each child needs $500 a month to ensure.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, is that there is.
But I think you should have known that.
Just like you should have known that one day that they would be abusive. You don't know that. These are not, I mean, again, I'm not saying that there's not telltale signs of some folks when you get together. Like, but again, people grow, people change, things happen, situations happen. It could be, you know, one of the people in the relationship is very stressed at work and brings that home. And now what used to be a household, full of peace and love is now stressed and it's strained. And in those moments, I agree, there should be some, I don't know, come together moment, whether it's recognizing that, supportive, therapy, family, help, whatever. But that's not the case. That's not the scenario for everybody.
True. That's not that I agree that's not the scenario for everyone. But I still don't believe that it changes the fact that.
But that's why these safety nets like alimony, these safety nets like child support exist. So that even in those times, because again, you might have someone who just has a bad judgment and character in that moment of time. I'm stressed. I got to get out of here. And then they remove themselves. Let's just say I'm making up a scenario. They remove themselves and say, I can't do this anymore. And then they remove themselves, and now it's 2 years later, and they're like, oh my gosh, what? And they want to come back, or they want to re-engage. Well, a lot can happen in a year. A lot can happen in 6 months, a year, 2 years. Again, these safety nets ensure that business can go on as usual, i.e. the business of taking care of the children can go on. So in those moments of of unclarity for folks because it happens. We're human.
So I'm gonna get a little personal. All right.
Okay.
So my story.
Oh, story time.
Story time. So my story is I got married young. Super young. All right.
Where?
And I had 3 children. And that relationship did not work out. All right. And the fallout of that, I was taking care of my children solely by myself. Okay. There's no one that I blamed other than myself for me being in that situation. There is also was there ever a thought of me putting her on child support. It wasn't even a thought of mine.
That's definitely your fault.
Because it's like, oh, these are mine. I'm gonna go out and get it.
Absolutely, but it's still
I'ma
your fault
get it.
because you had every right to. Because in that case, she had obligations to fill, to support, and again, ensure that these safety nets for children are taken care of.
Just
because you chose not to, man. That's
my thing.
That's your choice.
So my thing is, if we're not together, I don't want nothing from you.
That ain't how it works.
I don't want nothing from you. And I'm gonna get it. And I'm gonna get it how I get it. And I'm gonna get it for my kids. And there's nothing that's gonna stop it.
That's wonderful. That's, again, now you being selfish and you making it about you.
I'm not.
I'm talking about these kids. They didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to go through that.
And so they were my kids. They were my responsibility.
That's
right. And so I'm gonna take care of them whether she does or not.
Care of them. You right. You are.
So,
but she still has a responsibility to do so.
But that's
so. Therefore, so you're being selfish.
How?
Because you're only thinking about yourself. You're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take care.
No.
Great. You are.
No.
You will. But
no. If
she needed to also, and if that was only through child support or alimony, depending on that situation, or who at the time was making more income, that you definitely had all right to, like, cool, you don't have to be here physically, but you do have to support and help out.
No.
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
So that's my that's my thing. Like when if so, and then so
you want to beg your honor for doing what you're supposed to do, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that's the whole
great.
thing.
But
that's the whole thing. They're my kids.
No.
And whether she falls off the face of the earth, whether she get hit by a bus, whether she moves to Pakistan, whatever the case is. What if she does any of that?
She gonna
these
write
are
them
my
checks.
kids.
She gonna send checks.
And even if she don't, and if she
doesn't, of course,
and if
you gonna
she
still
sits
do
there
it,
and
but
says,
whatever.
"I'm not gonna pay you at all. I'm just gonna go to prison." Oh well, my kids still gotta eat.
Right.
I don't care what she does.
Again, you don't have to care. This case, in all cases, child support is about the child, the well-being of a child. And what I hear,
I'm gonna make sure the child has it.
Right, but she also needs to ensure that. And if she doesn't, then there's a process, child support, that will bring them checks to the table.
So and
whether what you now put it like this, if you choose to use them, because again, I know folks who, to your point, was like, I don't need anything. And I know folks who opened up separate bank accounts and let them checks roll right over there, and then was like, here you go, child. However, it is child support.
And it's not that I didn't need it.
It's not about need.
But
it's
you
about
said
child,
need it.
right?
It's not that I didn't need it.
Because it's support of the
but
child.
I'm gonna go grind and make it happen for my kids.
But you should have went to court.
Nah. No, I'm not depending on you.
It's not even depending. See, because then that's the stereotype, is that, oh, you taking me child support so you can go out here and I don't know, go go to Vegas, go hang out with your friends. That's not child support. Is about helping the child. And so too many stereotypes go around of, oh, well, I'm paying child support and the other person is taking it and getting their nails, hair done, kicking it with their friends, buying new cars.
Let me fast forward the story. So fast forward 10 years later, I remarried to an individual who had a child with somebody else.
Hope that somebody else was.
Listen here. As a man, not only am I about to take care of my child, my children, but I don't even, if you want to take care of your own child, that's cool, but you're not going to be on papers paying my wife.
It's not
paying my wife
again. You taking it. It's not about you.
Nah,
it's not about you. Child support. Do you hear me? Child.
Listen. I'm not stopping
you
from
obligation.
I'm not stopping you from dealing with your child.
Nope.
If you want to give your child allowance,
if
you want to give your child money, if you want to give your child clothes, if you want to do all of those things, if you want to come and spend time with your child, all those things, that's cool. I would never stop him from doing any of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, I encourage it.
Absolutely.
Me and him have a good relationship.
Great.
Right? So
but if
it's
he
not
chose
about
not
that.
to and was MIA,
I wouldn't care.
It's not about you.
My child.
Not about
again,
you.
My
not
child,
about you.
Listen.
You could be a billionaire.
I need you to hear me. Okay. My child is not going to have lack. Whether he does something or not.
Yo, it's not about lack.
It is.
No, it's not. Not in all cases. I just said you could be a billionaire.
Okay.
You could be a billionaire.
Sure. So why would I need your money?
Because it is about that individual's responsibility to their child.
No, so
not about you.
So here's the thing.
It's not about
Here's
you.
the thing. You can't legislate responsibility. You can't legislate responsibility.
That's what child support is for.
Nah, but you can't do that.
Yeah, well, it sure
you can't
exists.
Do that. You can't legislate responsibility. You can't legislate caring. If a person cares,
absolutely. This isn't about caring at this point because you've shown you do not care. That's why I got to go this route. If the person
that's your fault.
If the person was a big enough person to say we're not in this relationship, it didn't work out, but I'm still doing my due diligence and I'm still again subject because people's definition of taking care of their kid is very, very different. However, if it is up to your standard as the main caretaker and you're okay and because you're like, yeah, this money is supporting the child, school clothes and school supplies and food and extracurricular activities and shoes,
whatever situation that I was in.
Yeah.
Whatever situation that I was in.
But you making it personal and this is not about you.
No. What I'm saying is I was bringing in my personal situation to create a little bit of context of what we were talking about. And
right,
so
and
it's
ain't
like
changed a single thing of what I see.
And here's the next thing. I never want you to change.
Well, good.
I never want you to change. I'm not speaking to have you change or have listeners change.
No,
I'm just trying to provide another side of the spectrum or another side of the coin.
But I'm saying
to get you thinking about this.
But
and so,
that perspective you have is a one of personal. It is not thinking about the child.
It is thinking about the child because the child is my responsibility.
And the person you had the child with.
And if that person doesn't step up,
that's right.
If the person doesn't step up,
we got safety nets to make sure that they do.
Then it's my fault for sleeping with that person.
Oh my goodness.
It's my fault.
I'm not saying that's not the case.
It's my fault.
Yes, it is, but it's not the child's fault.
But the child's not lacking. Not finances, not anything that you are going to provide with a monthly check. Now the child might be lacking with emotional support or whatever the case may be, or that's something different. But again, you can't legislate emotional support. If the person sits there and says, "Oh, I'm gonna give you $500 a month, but I'm not gonna be involved in the child's life at all," like what? Like money?
I'm not saying that money solves all things, but in most cases and dynamics, it's going to take more money given the situation. Like, I'm taking care of kids, so therefore I'm gonna need extra child care, extra support.
Make it happen, parent.
I'm not gonna do it by myself because it took 2 to get this child
Make
here,
it
so it's gonna
happen.
take 2 checks.
No, that's my
to
whole point.
ensure.
It's personal responsibility and accountability. I
It
should have
is.
laid with that person.
That doesn't mean
if that
you
person
still
has that,
obligated
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this right here. If that person has showed you their character, right?
People grow, people change.
But listen, I'm putting together some things. If that person showed you their character, for instance, if they have 2 baby mamas already, and they ain't in their children's life,
agreed,
and you laid and slept with that person and got a child, that's your fault.
Okay,
that's your fault.
A scenario.
Okay, if that person is doesn't have a great relationship with their mama, and they argue with their sisters, and they cheat on their taxes, and they do they do all these other things. They might not be doing it to you. They might not be doing it to you, but it's only going to take a matter of time before that character flows over to you. So
I know, but you make
all
this
those
instance
things
that
that are
everything starts
happening.
off bad, but not everything starts off bad.
No, I'm not saying everything's starting off bad.
I know.
I'm not saying
I'm
that.
just saying that
That's
there
why
are
I was saying-
instances where 2 people come together,
but
they could be together for years.
Okay.
And somewhere in there, they decide. So there's 2 layers to this, because for you, in this scenario, I'm saying 2 people who've been together, married, or in a long-term relationship, they have children, but have come to a fork in the road and say, you know what, we're not happy. We are mutually unhappy with our relationship, but we both have responsibilities. If one of those people in this happy relationship, when they decide to part ways, and maybe they tried working it out amongst themselves, right? Like, okay, we'll rotate every other month, or I'll have them during the school year, you keep them during the summer, whatever the arrangement is, and the other person doesn't hold up their end of the arrangement, child support, alimony, these are things that ensure that there are safety nets for the children, that the child's welfare is taken care of.
I also believe this. That if child support and alimony wasn't an option, I think people would try harder to stick it out.
Nah. I mean, I don't know. But nah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I honestly believe that if you were saying that you had a
you have a what?
No, I was thinking like if you had a person that knew.
Oh,
okay.
Sure. We have a caller on the line.
That if you had a person that knew that they would not receive child support or alimony or whatever, and they walked away because they fell out of love, or because they,
how is that
not
different?
Not like I said, not the stuff that we talked about the abuse and all that other stuff. But if you're walking away because you fell out of love, or you walking away because we grew apart, or we walked away, whatever your reasoning is, whatever it is, okay. And I feel like if you walk away under those circumstances, you need to walk away from it all.
Okay. Let's see what the caller think about. All right, go ahead, caller.
Yes, I was listening at the conversation on my way in, and I was listening, and the young lady was saying, nah, if a person, but I got, because you guys are packing a whole quart inside of a pint. So I'll just pick the last point that my man drew. If a lady walks away at that point and she decides that she's done, then that means she really forfeiting that. And you're gonna say, well, what about your babies? What about? Well, she made the decision for those children, and then those children most likely will be taught to hate that the daddy walked out, that the daddy wasn't no good, that the daddy was not there for you, but the lady made that choice. And most relationships today are picked up in a rebound state of being, or a guy know that the girl already got a man and she messing with her, or the woman already know he's got a woman and she's messing with him. That tells you right there that they both cheat. Okay, because they cheat. He cheating on you with your man, and you cheating on him with your guy. So y'all both cheat. So I don't hear nothing about he cheated on me. You, when you got into the relationship, you both was cheating, or he was cheating, or you was cheating. So you went into a relationship cheating. So therefore, I think when a woman walks away or a man walks away, I think they should hold that responsibility. And but unfortunately, that's not the world we live in.
It's not.
And I just thought I would chime in because this is my first time catching y'all show this late.
I appreciate you listening in, and I appreciate you calling in.
All right.
All right. Take care. I mean,
so who did he agree with in with his comments?
I think it was across. I think it was a little bit of both, because I mean, I would agree to what Joel was saying. It sounds like in that scenario, if you knew each other was cheating, why are you dealing with each other in the first place, right? There's no respect there. There's no commitment. There's no nothing. It's just, at this point, just a physical relationship.
So there never should have been a kid in the first place.
Should have never been a kid in the first place.
Yeah, back to what you were saying.
But in the scenario of if the woman walks away, because the scenario of the caller
or man,
but I'm going with the callers. Walk away, said, I'm gonna take the child, and I'm not happy. I want my baby with me. I'm walking away. The fact that that nothing happens. Now again, if the gentleman in the situation is like, no, I want my child too, I want to provide, then he should be given the pathway to do so. Mm-hmm. I get it. Some people can be evil and vindictive and mean and, use kids as a problem. But I'm trying not to go there, because I want to say that those are very, far few in between, hopefully. Right. But people should have the option to come to a mutual agreement. I agree with that, what you're saying, because they should have the morals and values that say, I have a child, I'm going to take care of the child, we're going to be there. But if they don't, safety nets of child support and alimony need to be there. I appreciate the caller calling in. If you'd like to call in and let us know how you feel, 414.
We got another caller, but we just don't have the time.
5250.
Yeah, but let me say this.
What's that?
I think it would be safe to assume that you two are never going to agree on anything. It's not going to happen.
We'll respectfully disagree all the time.
The day y'all agree, it'll be the last show. Right? That's it. It's over. There's no need of us going no further, right? Hey, got to thank you guys. Second show, right?
Absolutely, second show.
Yeah. Getting better. I felt it today. And you still crazy. I still talk about you, buddy. Y'all want to sign off?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for listening for Respectful Disagreements. I'm Shahree.
I'm Joel Peterson.
And we will catch you next week.